In the last days, starting by taking care of your aunt, you will have many children and receive many blessings. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 76. Why did stewardess Liang Jin's black silk stocking break? Half an hour ago, stewardess Liang Jin couldn't stand the hunger anymore, so she had no choice but to come out of her house to find something to eat. But who knew that she had just found some food and was about to enjoy it when she was accidentally bumped into by Zhou Yuan, the eldest son of the Zhou family. Zhou Yuan, a rich and powerful son who is still arrogant and domineering in the apocalypse, only has power and desire in his eyes. But today, his eyes were attracted by Liang Jin's black stockings. Liang Jin was wearing black stockings. Although they looked a bit shabby, they could not hide her graceful figure and 30D proud curves. Her legs were slender and well proportioned, and her black stockings made her skin as fair as jade. Zhou Yuan looked at Liang Jin, a hint of surprise and greed flashed in his eyes. Young master, why don't you let me go? Liang Jin looked at Zhou Yuan and his men, feeling full of fear and helplessness. She knew that she could not compete with these powerful children in this apocalyptic world. Master, these girls are pretty good. The young man standing beside him looked at Liang Jin with a trace of greed in his eyes. Snapped. Zhou Yuan slapped his younger brother on the face and said dissatisfiedly, "Women? This is your sister-in-law." He looked Liang Jin up and down, his eyes full of desire. If he hadn't still had some concentration, he might have had nosebleeds by now. Master, don't you have a sister-in-law at home? The little brother who was slapped obviously didn't get the lesson and still kept talking without hesitation. Snapped. Zhou Yuan slapped her again and cursed angrily. Now that the end is coming, wouldn't it be good to have an extra sister-in-law? You kid, aren't you going to go back after going out today? He is only 20 years old. Why does he want to have one more wife? His father had married 7 wives before the end of the world. Is it wrong for him to want to marry one more? Liang Jin, the flight attendant who was involved, looked at this scene and her heart was completely broken. She felt extremely desperate and helpless, and a strong fear surged in her heart. Is this doomsday life really coming to an end? Just as Liang Jin was following Zhou Yuan and others back, a crisp female voice suddenly sounded. Wait, this voice is like the sound of nature, making people unable to help but look back. I saw a woman wearing a tight purple cheongsam standing behind everyone. She looked quite delicate and charming, like a blooming peony, giving people a strong desire for protection. Zhou Yuan and others originally turned around impatiently, but after seeing the appearance of the person clearly, their expressions changed slightly. Zhou Yuan even said excitedly, "Beauty, are you lost? I am the future patriarch of the Luo City warrior family, Zhou Yuan. If the beauty needs help, I can take you to some safer places." His words were full of confidence and enthusiasm, as if he wanted to show his heroic spirit in this doomsday. Really? I'm really lost. I'm worried that now that the end has come, what will weak women like us do? The woman called the beauty is Liu Fair, who is looking for Lin Chen. She looked cautiously at the stewardess Liang Chen and the people around her who were holding her hostage. That's a good relationship. Our Zhou family is the most lecherous, the most hospitable. Then come with me. Although Zhou Yuan didn't know where Liu Fair came from, he also thought that it would be foolish not to accept such a beautiful woman when she came to his door, so he didn't care so much. Okay, then let's go together. I see you also have a sister here, so let me and my sister come together. Liu Fair showed a seductive smile, and then walked over slowly. Come on, come on. Zhou Yuan greeted. However, at this moment, a younger brother beside Zhou Yuan reminded him, "Young Master Zhou, wait a minute, something is wrong with this woman." Zhou Yuan frowned slightly and suppressed his anger. Damn it, Zhou Qiang, what are you going to do? Do you think I slapped you too much? Zhou Qiang seemed a little nervous, but he still insisted on his point of view. Master, even if you slap me 10 or 100 times today, I will still say it. There must be something wrong with this woman. We haven't seen this woman for so long. Why does this woman appear at this time? There must be something wrong. Zhou Yuan impatiently kicked Zhou Qiang aside, and then politely explained to Liu Fair, "My little brother is usually very good, but his brain is not working well at critical moments. Don't take his words to heart." Stewardess Liang Chen saw that she had been involved in a trap, and now there was another Liu Fair who jumped into the trap. She was extremely anxious and winked at Liu Fair frantically, hoping that she could see through this trap. However, Liu Fair seemed to have not seen it and had already approached the stewardess Liang Chen. She suddenly said to Zhou Yuan, "Actually, I think your brain is not working well either." This sentence made Zhou Yuan and others stunned. They didn't expect Liu Fei to say this, and Liu Fei's next move surprised them even more. She moved her palm slightly, and a delicate thing ran out. In an instant, Zhou Yuan and others were frozen directly. Damn it, uncle, who are you? Who in the whole Luo city doesn't know my name? Zhou Yuan, if you dare to touch me, my father will definitely not let you go. Although Zhou Yuan's body was released by Liu Fei, his superpower was frozen, but his mouth was still stiff and he kept shouting. The younger brother on the side was also frightened, but he still tried to stay calm and reminded, Master, stop screaming, we are no match for her. Although Zhou Yuan is a proud and complacent person, he has to admit that this woman who suddenly appeared is indeed powerful. He secretly regretted why he didn't find out earlier that she was also a person with powers. Trash, what did you do? You are also a level 3 superpower, how come you didn't even realize that she is also a superpower? Zhou Yuan glared at the younger brother beside him, his tone full of reproach. Liu Fei ignored Zhou Yuan's shouting and asked coldly, okay, I don't care if you are Zhou Yuan or Wu Yuan, I just want to ask you, do you know Lin Chen? She had no intention of saving stewardess Liang Chen at first, but she overheard the conversation between Zhou Yuan and others when passing by. When she heard Zhou Yuan mention Lin Chen's name, she couldn't help but feel something in her heart. She thought that maybe Zhou Yuan really knew Lin Chen, so she decided to save the flight attendant Liang Chen. Although Zhou Yuan was frozen, his arrogance did not diminish at all. He felt in his heart that Liu Fei did not dare to do anything to him, so he raised his head and said disdainfully, Lin Chen? I don't know you. Zhou Yuan, I'm not interested in small soldiers or generals. However, as soon as he finished speaking, Liu Fei moved and go die. With a wave of her hand, the ice cubes on Zhou Yuan and others broke instantly, and together with their blood and flesh, they turned into ice cubes and disappeared between heaven and earth in an instant. This scene shocked everyone present. They couldn't believe that this beautiful woman could be so cruel and ended up like this. At the same time, Lin Chen, not far away, has been observing this place. He was very curious about what the little thing that suddenly appeared in Liu Fei's palm just now was, and how powerful it was. Chapter 77 Dragnet Organization. From Liu Fei's decisive action to Zhou Yuan and others being quickly dealt with, Lin Chen has been observing silently in secret, his eyes deep and sharp. He even used his own system to conduct a comprehensive identification of Liu Fei. Name, Liu Fei. Race, human. Gender, female. Quality, stunning. Occupation, Dragon Kingdom. Superpower organization, squadron leader of Dragnet. Level 4 psychic. Appearance 97, body 97. Superpower, A-level superpower. Historical deduction, level 2, overall rating 97. However, what confused Lin Chen was that he clearly saw that Liu Fei had just used the freezing power to freeze Zhou Yuan and others instantly, but this is completely different from the historical deduction of Liu Fei's abilities that he identified from the system. Lin Chen frowned, and his heart was full of confusion. He wondered if there was something wrong with his system, or if he saw it wrong. He decided to observe Liu Fei carefully again to see if he could find out the reason. At this moment, Liu Fei had quickly eliminated Zhou Yuan and others, showing her amazing strength. Stewardess Liang Chen witnessed all this and was filled with gratitude. She hurriedly stepped forward and said excitedly, thank you, heroine. You are really my savior. I don't know your name yet, can you tell me? Liu Fei smiled slightly, with a trace of tenderness in her eyes, and she said softly, my name is Liu Fei. You can call me Fei. You don't need to thank me now that the end is coming. Everyone should help each other. You should go home quickly. Although life is very difficult, you have to believe in our superpower organization and Dragon Kingdom. We will work hard to rescue everyone in need. After saying that, Liu Fei didn't stay too long. She knew that the most important thing now was to find Lin Chen and confirm whose safety. She had searched from Nan'an District, Zhengbei District and other areas, but could not find Lin Chen. Just when she was about to leave, Lin Chen suddenly came over. It turned out that Lin Chen had been secretly observing Liu Fei while she was dealing with Zhou Yuan and others. He was surprised to find that Liu Fei seemed to be an old friend of his. This familiar feeling made it impossible for him to hide anymore, so he decided to show up to meet Liu Fei. The two people's eyes met in the air, as if there was an invisible bond connecting them closely. Lin Chen felt an inexplicable excitement in his heart. He walked up to Liu Fei, took a deep look at her, and then said, Fei, long time no see. Lin Chen? In this quiet world, Liu Fei was stunned for a moment when she looked at the man who suddenly appeared in front of her. In her heart, she had already made the worst plan for Lin Chen's fate. Maybe he had been held hostage, or maybe he had already died in this doomsday. But now, Lin Chen stood in front of her intact, and this sudden reunion made her feel a little dazed. "It's really you, Lin Chen." There was a trace of panic and imperceptible excitement in Liu Fei's voice, as if she was afraid that all this was just her imagination. Lin Chen looked at her, a soft light flashing in his eyes. He nodded gently, his voice calm and firm. "Well, it's me. I've been nearby, and I just heard you looking for me." Liu Fei's mood was complicated and unspeakable. She originally thought she would never see Lin Chen again, but now his sudden appearance made her feel inexplicably relieved, because only she knew that when she was in the orphanage, she said that she hoped to marry Lin Chen as her wife when she grew up. She took a deep breath, tried to calm down her emotions, and then asked, "Are you a superpower? What's wrong? Why did you ask this as soon as we met?" Lin Chen looked at Liu Fei, slightly surprised. Liu Fei took a deep breath and seemed to have made a lot of determination. "Now that I have seen you, I will no longer hide it. I did come to Luo City specifically to find you this time, and it was also me who took the initiative to the request made by the organization. I know that you are a supernatural person, so I hope you can join our organization. This way, at least you will be protected in terms of food when the end comes." Speaking of this, Liu Fei paused slightly, seeming to organize her words. She continued, "Moreover, there is a ruins that is about to be opened. As long as you become a member of our organization, you will have the opportunity to enter this ruins. There may be many precious resources and secrets in the ruins, which is very important for us superpowers." Said it was a rare opportunity. If Liu Fei's teammates see her now, they will definitely be shocked, especially Liu Fei today. She was obviously talking more, and anyone with a discerning eye could see that she was so enthusiastic for Lin Chen. However, Liu Fei's words sounded a little strange to Lin Chen. "Food security?" Lin Chen frowned slightly. For him, this is not a problem at all. Not because there are many women in his family to take care of him, but because he himself has enough ability and resources to ensure food supply. Lin Chen couldn't help but sigh in his heart. Hey, it's so difficult to be a good man and husband. He understood Liu Fei's good intentions, but he also had his own considerations and plans, not to mention the benefits of joining this organization. What would a woman in the family do without him? What happened when he went back to eat secretly and was punished was still vivid in his mind, and he didn't want it to happen again unless he can't help it. Therefore, after Lin Chen thought for a while, he said frankly to Liu Fei, "I am really grateful for your kindness, but I think I may not be able to join your Xian Luoyang organization. You know, my family, there are many women. What will they do if I am away for a long time? You don't want me to become a widower." Liu Fei thought about Lin Chen's countless possibilities, but she didn't expect such a result. Liu Fei was very surprised by Lin Chen's response. She had imagined various possible outcomes, but she did not expect that Lin Chen would refuse for this reason. Women? Too many. Liu Fei couldn't help being a little stunned. She frowned slightly, as if she was trying to digest this sudden information. However, Lin Chen didn't give her much time to think. He continued, "Oh, by the way, Mayfair, I almost forgot to say it. How about you consider joining our family and becoming my woman? In that case, whatever you want to eat, I will personally prepare it for you. Period. Even if you want to eat noodles, I can give them to you right away. What do you think?" Lin Chen's words caught Liu Fei off guard, and a trace of surprise and hesitation flashed across her face. She never thought that her relationship with Lin Chen would develop to this point, but she didn't expect it to happen so quickly. Still eating down there, when she thought of this, she blushed like a big apple. Subconsciously. Chapter 78 Scientific Superpower. Liu Fei subconsciously raised her palm slightly, and a delicate and small object suddenly appeared in front of Lin Chen's eyes, as if it was condensed by the power of technology. This object emits a faint light and seems harmless, but it contains powerful energy. "Lin Chen, leave quickly." Liu Fei's voice was full of tension and worry. Her eyes were fixed on the little thing that was about to lose control, as if she had foreseen a storm that was about to break out. "This scientific superpower is sometimes difficult for even me to fully control." Lin Chen looked calm. He looked at Liu Fei with a smile, a trace of confidence flashing in his eyes. As a level 5 superpower user, his control over energy has reached the point of proficiency. Even when faced with this mysterious scientific superpower, he has no fear at all. "Don't worry, just this little thing can't hurt me," he comforted softly, trying to ease Liu Fei's nervousness. However, Liu Fei had no time to care about Lin Chen's safety at this time. Her heart was filled with worries, fearing that this scientific superpower would go out of control and harm Lin Chen. She turned around and ran away, hoping to stay away from the imminent danger. However, her worries were unnecessary. The moment she turned around, that delicate little thing suddenly burst out with a powerful energy. This energy instantly turned into ultimate ice and roared towards Lin Chen. Oops! Liu Fei's heart tightened. She knew that she might have really gotten into trouble this time. She looked back and saw Lin Chen's figure gradually blurring in the cold energy. Her heart was filled with self-blame and regret. If it weren't for her own negligence, Lin Chen would not have fallen into such danger. Just when she was about to despair, a dazzling purple thunder and lightning suddenly appeared in front of Lin Chen, and immediately faced the ice. The purple thunder and lightning contained powerful energy fluctuations, as if there was an invisible force resisting the invasion of the ultimate ice. Liu Fei's eyes widened and she looked at the scene in front of her in disbelief. She couldn't believe her eyes. Lin Chen, who seemed weak, could actually withstand the powerful energy released by this scientific superpower. The thunder and lightning gradually dissipated, revealing Lin Chen's figure. He still stood there with a calm expression, as if everything just happened was just an insignificant disturbance. His eyes flashed with confidence and determination, as if to say, "Look, I'm fine." You, what exactly did you do? Why were you able to block the attack of this scientific superpower? There was a hint of surprise and confusion in Liu Fei's voice. She originally thought that Lin Chen would be in trouble or even injured when facing the attack of this scientific superpower. However, the scene before her caught her off guard. Lin Chen smiled slightly. He gently picked up the delicate little thing and looked at it carefully. Although this little thing is not big in size, the energy it just released is amazing. Scientific superpower? This name is quite interesting. Lin Chen smiled and said, "However, the power of this little thing is not small. The attack just now may not even be able to resist an ordinary level 3 superpower user, let alone a level 4 superpower user." Hearing this, Liu Fei couldn't help showing a hint of embarrassment on her face. She was secretly glad that Lin Chen was not injured, and at the same time she felt a little funny about her previous worries. "When did you take it away? This is someone else's thing, how can you just take it?" Although Liu Fei blamed Lin Chen, her heart was full of apologies. Lin Chen smiled and handed the small thing back to Liu Fei. "I just want to take a look. Since it's yours, I'll give it back to you," he asked curiously. "But can you tell me what it is?" Liu Fei took the small and exquisite power converter. A trace of pride flashed in her eyes. She gently stroked the little thing, as if communicating with it in a silent understanding. "Okay, since you are so curious about this little thing, let me explain it to you in detail." Liu Fei took a deep breath. With a confident light shining in her eyes, she spoke slowly, with a hint of pride in her voice that was difficult to conceal. "This small and exquisite object is called a superpower converter, and it is the leader among level 5 scientific superpowers. Its uniqueness is that it can use the holder's power fluctuations to transform into 2 ultimate energies, ultimate ice and ultimate flame. These 2 kinds of energy are extremely rare and powerful in the world of superpowers, but this little thing can easily convert them to his own use." Liu Fei paused, seeming to recall her experience in the organization. "It is no exaggeration to say that even in the Dragnet organization where I am, not everyone can have such a treasure. Usually, only those members with outstanding performance and outstanding strength have the opportunity to obtain such scientific superpowers, and I was able to possess it because I was recently promoted to squadron leader and went through layers of selection and testing." Her words were full of confidence and temptation, as if she was showing Lin Chen her own strength and the power of her organization. "Lin Chen, I have seen your strength with my own eyes. It is very powerful. I feel that you are at least as strong as a late level 3rd level superpower user, or even a 4th level superpower user. If you are willing to join our Dragnet organization, with your ability, it is not difficult to have such a scientific superpower. You can even get more resources and support to further improve your strength. Our organization has rich resources and strong backing, which can provide you with endless opportunities and challenges." Liu Fei's eyes were full of expectation and sincerity. She sincerely hoped that Lin Chen could become a member of the Dragnet organization. In her opinion, Lin Chen is not only powerful, but also smart and resourceful, which is exactly what the organization needs. She believed that as long as Lin Chen joined the organization, it would be a matter of minutes to capture him. It turns out that she thought I was a level 3 or 4 superpower, but there was no need to tell her my specific strength. Lin Chen thought secretly. "Fair. Please stop beating around the bush and tell me directly, are you willing to join our big family?" When he thought of this, Lin Chen said directly without giving the other party any room to avoid. As soon as she finished speaking, Liu Fei's ears turned even redder, as if a touch of morning glow reflected on her cheeks. At this delicate moment, a crisp voice suddenly sounded, breaking the silent atmosphere. I do." Lin Chen turned around and saw Liang Chen, the stewardess whom Liu Fei had just rescued, standing not far away. Her eyes were firm and full of expectation. The reason why Liang Chen was so proactive was precisely because she had just witnessed Lin Chen's powerful strength in this era of doomsday, Everyone must make a choice, find a strong support, or face unknown dangers alone. Obviously, Lin Chen chose the former. Lin Chen was very happy for Lin Chen's initiative after all. In his eyes and systems recognition, Lin Chen is also a pretty beauty in black stockings. Name: Lin Jin. Race: human. Gender: female. Quality: Kingo. Occupation: stewardess. Appearance: 95. Body: 95. Power: none. Overall rating: 95. He originally thought about using some means to get Lin Chen to join him, but he didn't expect that she would agree so readily. What about you? Fair, if you don't want to, I will leave with this young lady. Lin Chen said half-jokingly, but there was a hint of seriousness in his eyes. Liu Fair was a little at a loss by Lin Chen's words. She was originally comfortable in the organization, but when faced with Lin Chen's direct inquiry, she suddenly became nervous. Liu Fair stammered and couldn't speak. Her heartbeat accelerated, as if it was about to jump out of her chest. Seeing Liu Fair's nervous look, Lin Chen couldn't help but laugh. He gently held Liu Fair's hand and asked gently, "Fair, are you willing to come with me?" At this moment, Liu Fair's eyes shone with determination. She nodded, her voice slightly trembling. I am willing." Hearing this, Lin Chen felt very happy. Just when he was about to speak, an unfriendly voice came over. "Boy, have you ever seen my eldest young master, Mr. Zhou?" This voice was full of hostility and arrogance, as if challenging Lin Chen's authority. Chapter 79 Xianluo Candidate. "Boy, have you ever met my eldest young master, Mr. Zhou?" Far behind Lin Chen, a majestic and cold voice shouted. This voice was like the north wind in the cold winter, exuding an unquestionable domineering air. The person who spoke was none other than Zhou Kang, the eldest elder of the Zhou family. His eyes were as sharp as a cheetah's, staring at Lin Chen closely. It turned out that when Zhou Yuan, the eldest son of the Zhou family, faced Liu Fair's freezing power, he did not sit still and wait for death. Instead, he quickly pressed the rescue button on the satellite phone, hoping to delay time and wait for Zhou Kang, the eldest elder of the Zhou family, or the clan leader, to come to the rescue. He originally thought that with the strength and status of the Zhou family, Liu Fair would be wary and give him some breathing space. However, Liu Fair did not act as he expected. She did not shrink back because of the status and reputation of the Zhou family, but instead took action directly without any politeness. After asking the question, she directly used the freezing ability without giving Zhou Yuan any chance to delay. This caused Zhou Yuan's original plan to fail and he fell into a desperate situation. "Boy, I'm talking to you. Are you deaf? You don't even recognize me?" Seeing that Lin Chen didn't respond, Zhou Kang's voice revealed a hint of dissatisfaction and contempt. However, he did not get angry because of this, but continued in a joking tone, "However, you have a pretty good fortune. There are two such beautiful women around you. I think they are very suitable for our Zhou family." In response to Zhou Kang's words, Lin Chen still didn't say much. He just let out more breath of turbid air and moved his body slightly. Suddenly, purple lightning filled his body and rushed towards Zhou Kang like a purple whirlwind. "Oh? So you are also a person with superpowers?" A trace of surprise flashed in Zhou Kang's eyes, but he quickly regained his composure. "But do you think you can compete with our Zhou family with your little strength? It's really ridiculous." However, the next moment, Zhou Kang's words were suddenly interrupted. I saw the thunder gun in Lin Chen's hand piercing his body like a purple lightning bolt, and a powerful energy burst out instantly, knocking Zhou Kang away. Damn! Blood spurted out from Zhou Kang's mouth, and his face was as pale as paper. His eyes were full of shock and disbelief. When did such a strong man appear in Luo City? "Are you the young man in black who killed Wu Zai Ocean?" Even on his deathbed, Zhou Kang was still arrogant. "I was careless today and fell into your hands, but don't be complacent for too long. Our Zhou family has reached an alliance with the Zhao family in Yangchang, and soon we will capture Luochang and Yangchang. By then, you alone will never be our opponent." However, in response to Zhou Kang's threats and provocations, Lin Chen just said coldly, "There's so much nonsense." Then, the thunder gun in his hand swung in a perfect circle again, directly smashing Zhou Kang's body to pieces. Seeing this scene, Liu Fair and stewardess Lin Chen both looked in disbelief. For Lin Chen, she hadn't seen too many people with powers, so this kind of scene naturally shocked her. However, for Liu Fair, her shock was even more profound. It seemed simple for Liu Fair to deal with Zhou Yuan just now, but in fact, only she knew that Zhou Yuan was only at the early stage of a level 3 superpower. If you go head-to-head with a late level 3 superpower like Zhou Kang, it will definitely be a tough battle. However, Lin Chen directly defeated Zhou Kang with astonishing speed and strength. which made Liu Fei deeply in awe of Lin Chen's strength. Lin Chen's strength is at the forefront even in the dragnet. It can even be said that Lin Chen is qualified to be a candidate for Xianluo. You must know that in the entire Dragon Kingdom, there are only 7 Xianluo, and each of them is an experienced and powerful senior member. You should take this young lady back to my base camp, Yaziao Courtyard. I'm going to go to Zhou's house to handle some matters. Lin Chen jumped back to Liu Fei and flight attendant Liang Chen, with a determined look on his face. When Liu Fei heard Lin Chen's words, she couldn't help but frown. Lin Chen, you don't want to go against a family, do you? Although the Zhou family can only be regarded as a third-rate family in the entire Luo city, their strength cannot be tolerated underestimated. Besides, if I guess, your current strength is only at the late stage of level 3 superpowers, are you really sure? What will happen to me and the ladies if something unexpected happens? Liu Fei now regards herself as Lin Chen's future woman, so she is very worried about Lin Chen's safety. However, Lin Chen just smiled faintly. Late level 3 superpower user. You don't have to worry anymore. You can go back first. I will definitely be back before night. Wait for me at home. Remember to wash yourself clean, otherwise I will be angry. After saying that, Lin Chen turned around and walked towards the Zhou family. Looking at his departing back, Liu Fei's heart was filled with worry and helplessness. She knew that Lin Chen was an independent person, especially when he was in the orphanage. Therefore, even though she wanted to pursue him, she ultimately chose to respect his decision. Half an hour later, the scorching sun is shining in the sky, and the dazzling sunshine shines on a luxurious and unique villa complex. Chapter 80. A daughter in the Zhou family has grown up. This villa complex is located in a quiet and solemn environment, surrounded by green trees and the fragrance of flowers. The architectural style of the villa is unique, with both classical elegance and modern simplicity. In this villa complex, a group of men wearing 5-star uniforms were busy patrolling. Their steps were firm, and their eyes were sharp, as if they were protecting the safety of this territory. These men in uniforms are burly and have well-defined muscles. They are obviously elites who have undergone rigorous training and screening. On a building not far away, Lin Chen was leaning against the wall, holding a piece of Zuanmei chewing gum in his mouth that was so dazzling that he couldn't stop at all, observing everything in the villa complex with piercing eyes. With the help of his strong mental power, he could clearly see every corner of the villas. Different from the luxurious and flamboyant Wu family villas, the Zhou family's villas look more simple and low-key. Although it is difficult to see the residence of the clan leader at a glance, Lin Chen can still perceive the profound details contained in it with his keen observation and mental strength. In the villa complex, there were about 30 men wearing 5-star uniforms. However, there are only about 10 people who truly possess the power of superpowers, and most of their abilities are around level 1 superpowers. Such a configuration of strength does not pose much of a threat to Lin Chen, but he also knows that he cannot take it lightly. After all, this is the power of a family and cannot be underestimated. Lin Chen observed quietly, and after waiting for a long time, he started to take action. His body was like a bolt of lightning, instantly cutting through the air and leaping directly towards the villa. His movements were quick and accurate, and he just missed the side of the man in the 5-star uniform and landed in an inconspicuous corner. However, just as he landed, he unexpectedly discovered 2 young girls slowly walking out of a villa complex. Their faces are beautiful and their figures are graceful, as charming as spring flowers. One of the girls, the person called Miss, is none other than the eldest daughter of the Zhou family, Josiah Oxio. Miss, tell me, is the envoy from the Zhao family in Yangchang today interested in you? I saw him staring at you without blinking. Another girl winked mischievously and joked to Josiah Oxio. Josiah Oxio snorted disdainfully and said, "Humph, even if he is worthy of looking at me, he doesn't even look at himself in the mirror." Her voice was full of arrogance, and she was obviously not interested in the messenger. However, at this moment, her eyes moved and she actually saw Lin Chen in the corner. Her face suddenly changed slightly, obviously a little surprised. "Handsome guy, are you lost?" Josiah Oxio spoke first. When Lin Chen saw this, he was secretly glad in his heart. He originally thought he had been discovered, and was considering whether to take out the drug from the space power to stun the 2 beautiful girls in front of him. But now it seems that it is no longer needed. Josiah Oxio's idiotic appearance gave him confidence, and he decided to use this opportunity to start a dialogue with Josiah Oxio. He smiled slightly, nodded, and said, "Hello, little sister. I am from the Zhao family in Yangchang. This villa is so big that I can't even find the way. May I ask where our family's envoy has gone?" There is a hint of humility and sincerity in his words, which makes people like him. When Josiah Oxio heard this, He was slightly startled, then covered his mouth and chuckled. Her eyes sparkled with cunning and mischief. Like a kitten teasing its prey, she pointed her hand in a direction and said casually, "The envoy should be in that direction. You can go there and have a look, but, compared to the envoy, isn't the handsome guy less interested in me?" There was a hint of teasing in her words, as if she was testing Lin Chen's determination facing Josiah Oxio's initiative. Lin Chen was also moved in his heart. He quickly assessed the situation and decided to go with the flow. He ducked in front of Josiah Oxio and took a close look at her troubled face. "I don't know my little sister's name," Lin Chen said lightly. "Josiah Oxio, the eldest lady of the Zhou family." Josiah Oxio answered with a smile. With a hint of pride in her voice, she seemed to enjoy the feeling of being carefully looked at by Lin Chen, as if this was a recognition of her charm. However, at this moment, Lin Chen suddenly took action with lightning speed. He knocked Josiah Oxio and her maid unconscious simultaneously with one hand and one at a time. His movements were swift and precise, without any hesitation or sloppiness. All this happened in a flash of lightning, and Josiah Oxio and her maid fell into coma before they could react at all. The reason why Lin Chen took such decisive action was because his intuition was keenly aware that someone was approaching quickly not far away. He knew that if he wanted to quickly find the Zhao family's envoy and clan leader, this was his best choice at the moment. He must complete the task in the shortest possible time while avoiding any unnecessary trouble. So, after knocking Josiah Oxio and the maid unconscious, Lin Chen quickly took them into a room in the villa without a moment's hesitation. He took a deep breath and began to use his upgraded Blood Oath ability. This is the first time he has used this power after upgrading. He originally thought that the upgraded superpower might be different, but he didn't expect that the time to cast it would be greatly shortened, and the target would no longer be single. He could turn Josiah Oxio and the maid into his servants at the same time, which undoubtedly saved him a lot of time. Just 10 minutes later, when Lin Chen opened his eyes, he was surprised to find that Josiah Oxio and the maid had become his servants. "Hello, Master, I am Josiah Oxio." Josiah Oxio saluted respectfully. "Hello, Master, I am Jo Yu." The maid followed closely behind and saluted respectfully. Seeing the two young girls in front of him becoming his servants at the same time, Lin Chen was filled with satisfaction. But he knew that he had an important task to complete when he came to Zhou's house today, and he could not be distracted by this. How strong is the envoy of the Zhao family in Yangcheng? How strong is the head of the Zhou family? Lin Chen asked directly, getting to the point. "Master, the envoy of the Zhao family is more powerful than the patriarch. He has at least the strength of a level 4 superpower, while the patriarch currently only has the strength of a level 3 superpower." Josiah Oxio replied respectfully. "I see, this way I'll know better, otherwise it won't be good to be passive when the time comes." Lin Chen nodded. With a clearer plan in mind, he glanced at Josiah Oxio. A trace of desire flashed in his eyes, but he quickly calmed down. He knew that now was not the time. He needs to enjoy this beauty again after completing the task. "Okay, you guys wait for me here. I'll come find you when I'm done." After Lin Chen left these words, he turned and left the room. After a while, they arrived at the villa Josiah Oxio had just mentioned. However, what surprised Lin Chen was that, "I actually heard men's shouts and women's moans coming from outside the villa. Zhaolang, come in quickly, don't just look at it. Where are your hands?" Chapter 81 Ambition. Looking down at the young and beautiful woman beside the bed, Zhao Kun had a wicked smile on his face, and the anger in his heart started to rise again, especially when he thought about Josiah Oxio, the eldest lady of the Zhou family, whom he had just met in the Zhou family meeting hall. The evil fire in his heart could not be stopped at all, otherwise he would not have started having sex with men and women in broad daylight. Damn it, let's just settle it for today. When I go back and settle things, sooner or later the eldest lady of the Zhou family will also be in my pocket. Zhaolang, what are you doing? Why haven't you come over yet? The young and beautiful woman on the bed touched her black silk stockings and said, "Good girl, why are you so anxious? I'm coming right now, right?" As he spoke, Zhao Kun slowly approached the beautiful young woman. However, the keen power in Zhao Kun's heart suddenly awakened at this moment, making his heart suddenly tighten. His instinct told him that danger was approaching. In this flash of lightning, he did not hesitate to grab the quilt used by the beautiful young woman beside the bed to cover her important parts, and quickly threw it behind her. "Zhaolang, what are you doing? Why are you in such a hurry?" The beautiful young woman thought Zhao Kun was playing hard to get with him, and she said angrily, "Who knows, the quilt has just been thrown out." A sharp zilla sound suddenly sounded in the air, as if a hole suddenly opened between heaven and earth. Immediately afterwards, a dazzling purple lightning appeared out of thin air, catching up with the thrown quilt almost instantly. The next moment, when it touched the quilt, purple electricity suddenly burst out, releasing terrifying energy. The quilt seemed fragile in front of this force, and was instantly turned into nothingness by the purple lightning. Not even a trace of dust was left. The sharp screams pierced the tranquility of the room. The beautiful young woman on the bed had completely lost her mind at this moment. She didn't care that she was already in love, but she just instinctively wanted to escape from this sudden and terrifying existence. Zhao Kun's face instantly turned livid, and his eyes flashed with anger and fear. He shouted angrily, "Who are you? Don't you know that I am Zhao Kun, the second head of the Zhao family in Yangcheng?" His voice was full of threats and domineering, trying to use his identity to intimidate the sudden appearance of the young man. However, the young man in black only raised his head slightly, revealing his handsome and cold face. He said calmly, "The people who will be killed are your Zhao family members." Zhao Kun was stunned. He looked at the unfamiliar face and felt uneasy in his heart. He tried to search for this young man in his memory, but found nothing. He asked doubtfully, "Who are you? I have obviously never met you, nor have I ever had any enmity with you." However, the young man in black did not answer his question, but said coldly, "It's not important anymore. What's important is that you are already dead." After saying this, he smiled slightly and then moved suddenly. His figure disappeared instantly, leaving only an afterimage floating in the air. Zhao Kun was shocked, knowing that he had met a powerful opponent. He reacted quickly, trying to dodge the boy's attack. However, the boy in black was much faster than he imagined. His figure drew a graceful arc in the air, and then suddenly appeared in front of Zhao Kun. He stretched out a hand, and a strong wave of energy suddenly appeared in his palm. "Damn it, am I the dead person or are you the dead person? It's not up to you." Zhao Kun's heart tightened and he quickly turned around to face the boy in black. However, just when Zhao Kun's fist was about to touch Lin Chen, the young man in black, a powerful wave of energy suddenly burst out from Lin Chen's palm. The purple thunder light flashed and instantly condensed into a purple spear with a glittering thunder light. Zhao Kun only felt a huge force suddenly hit his fist. The next moment, the huge impact spread along his arm and throughout his body. He only felt that his internal organs seemed to be displaced by the force, and severe pain spread throughout his body. He couldn't help but let out a scream, and then his whole body was severely repelled by this force, and he hit the arms of the beautiful young woman beside the bed. PFFT. A mouthful of blood spurted out from Zhao Kun's mouth like broken red clouds, staining his clothes and the sheets underneath him red. Although he had struggled to get out of the beautiful young woman's arms before, at this moment he was completely weak and collapsed to the ground like a puddle of mud. Seeing Zhao Kun, who had become a corpse, Lin Chen didn't hesitate at all. With a wave of his hand, an invisible wave of energy instantly rushed towards the beautiful young woman Yan Siqi. Yan Siqi didn't even have the chance to make a sound, as if she was crushed by invisible hands. She turned into a wisp of smoke and dissipated in the air. After completing all this, Lin Chen turned and left. Of course, the reason why he did not take Yan Siqi away was not because he was not interested in her. It was because he had just used the system to conduct a comprehensive identification of Yan Siqi. Name, Yan Siqi. Race, human. Gender, female. Quality, ordinary. Occupation, red light district. Appearance 58. Body 51. Power, SYNOPSIS level. Power, syphilis, level 1. Overall rating 54. Damn it, the second head of the Zhao family is really hungry. He can actually afford such things. After getting rid of Zhao Kun, Lin Chen didn't pause for a moment and immediately turned to look for Josiah Oxeo, hoping to introduce her to Zhou Shan, the head of the Zhou family. At the same time, in the Zhou family's meeting hall, a meeting related to the future of the family was going on. Nervously and orderly, Zhou Shan stood in front of everyone, his brows furrowed. Obviously he was not without concerns about the Zhao family's proposal. He looked around at the senior executives present, hoping to find voices of support or opposition in their remarks. Everyone, today Zhao Kun, the envoy of the Zhao family in Yangcheng, came to visit and proposed a plan to join hands with us to capture Yangcheng and Luocheng. Although Wu Zai Ocean is dead, this is a decision full of risks. I hope to hear everyone's opinions. Originally, Zhou Shan planned to invite the great elder Zhou Kaiyang and his eldest son Zhou Yuan to come together, but for some reason, Zhou Shan could not be contacted, so the meeting was held in advance. Clan leader, I think this proposal is good. After all, Wu Zai Ocean is dead now. In any case, if we unite with the Zhao family in Yangcheng, we will definitely have a chance of winning. I personally support it. As soon as he finished speaking, an old man stood up. He stood up and expressed his support for the Zhao family's proposal in a loud voice. I also support it. Our Zhou family has been bullied by the Wu family for so many years. It's time to stand up. Yes, yes. Our Zhou family will soon become the masters of Luo City. The end of the world is so good. Although resources are relatively tight now, as long as we capture Luo City, are we still worried about running out of resources? The senior officials below expressed their opinions one after another. Okay, since everyone supports me in doing this, then however, just when Zhou Shan was about to make a decision, a clear and firm voice suddenly sounded. I don't support it. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelists. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 82. Why you've got a soft persimmon. I don't support it. This voice echoed in the meeting hall like thunder, making everyone look at Zhou Shan and others' expressions change drastically. They never expected that someone would openly object at this critical moment. They quickly turned around and saw a young figure standing at the door of the hall. It was Lin Chen who had just arrived. This is a high-level meeting of the Zhou family, and even direct descendants are not qualified to participate. Who are you? Why do you say you don't support it? An old man said, dissatisfied. Why? Why? He is my master. As soon as these words came out, everyone's eyes were focused on the figure walking out from behind Lin Chen. She was wearing a black dress, mysterious and profound, like the incarnation of the night Xiao. What are you doing? Who is this person? Why have I never seen him before? Why do you call him master? Zhou Shan said with an ashen face. Unexpectedly, after hearing Zhou Shan's words, Zhou Xiao just smiled faintly and said directly to everyone, he killed Zhou Yuan and Zhou Qiang alone. Upon hearing this, Zhou Shan and others suddenly took a breath of cold air. What? Was the young master of the Zhou family solved by the young man in front of him? Damn it, he must die. But why didn't Zhou Xiao feel anything at all? After all, Zhou Yuan and Zhou Xiao were brothers and sisters from the same mother. Okay. After saying the word okay 3 times in a row, Zhou Shan couldn't bear it anymore. Although he didn't know what happened to Zhou Xiao, since someone dared to touch his son and daughter, he must die. Since you dared to come to our Zhou family today, then you can stay. Zhou Shan's voice was full of threats, and his eyes flashed with coldness, as if he had seen Lin Chen's situation with nowhere to escape. However, facing such a threat, Lin Chen just smiled faintly. Stay? It's not impossible, but you have to give up your position to me. As soon as these words came out, Zhou Shan was slightly stunned. He didn't expect Lin Chen to be so arrogant. In his eyes, Lin Chen was just a nobody. How could he be qualified to challenge his status in the Zhou family? Boy, this is the Zhou family. You don't look like you are from a big family, but you are so arrogant, so let me deal with you. The old man on the side couldn't stand Lin Chen's arrogance. Before he finished speaking, he rushed towards Lin Chen, ready to teach this boy who didn't know the heights of the world a lesson. However, at the moment when the old man was about to attack Lin Chen only moved his mind slightly. Boom, there was a loud noise, and the old man who had been so aggressive just now was suddenly hit by a purple lightning bolt. His head shot instantly, and his headless body fell heavily to the ground, splashing a cloud of dust. This scene happened so suddenly that everyone was stunned. They had no idea that this seemingly ordinary young man would possess such terrifying strength. This was the first time Lin Chen used the purple sky divine thunder after upgrading it. He used his mental power to cooperate with the power of the Xiao divine thunder, turning it into an invisible lightning needle, and struck the opponent before he could react. Caught off guard, second elder. Zhou Shan shouted angrily, seeing the headless body of the second elder lying on the ground. The remaining senior officials of the Zhou family showed frightened expressions. For a moment their eyes were full of disbelief and deep fear, as if they had seen something incredible. How was this done? One person asked tremblingly, his voice full of doubts and panic. The second elder is obviously stronger than the first elder. Why is he so vulnerable? Another person couldn't help but murmur to himself, his eyes flashing with shock that could not be concealed. Is this really a headshot? Another person said with a trembling voice, his eyes full of fear and disbelief. Zhou Shan also looked shocked. He widened his eyes and looked at Lin Chen in front of him, as if he saw some monster. He had no idea how Lin Chen took action, or rather, he was shocked by Lin Chen's strength and began to feel scared. This terrifying feeling of suffocation reminded Zhou Shan of his experience of going out for training when he was young. At that time, he had met some ancient family elders, and their strength made him despair. At that time, he almost died there. But now, when this thought appeared in his mind again, his heart began to turn upside down. At this time, Lin Chen looked at the frightened Zhou Shan and said casually, "Clan Chief Zhou Shan, Are you going to keep me today? Lin Chen's words brought Zhou Shan back to reality. He raised his finger fiercely, pointed at Lin Chen and said, You have offended me today. Lin Chen smiled and took a step forward and said, even if I offend you, so what? Zhou Shan was not taken seriously at all. This feeling of oppression from a super strong man made Zhou Shan feel breathless. He suddenly said nervously, Congratulations, you've got a soft persimmon. As soon as these words came out, Zhou Shan knelt down in front of Lin Chen in front of everyone. His face was full of panic and pleading. Handsome, big brother, please, I was wrong. Zhou Shan's voice was full of pleading and fear. He kept repeating these words, as if he wanted to calm Lin Chen's anger in this way. Seeing Zhou Shan like this, Lin Chen couldn't help but feel a little funny. He has seen many people say harsh words, but this is the first time he has seen someone like Zhou Shan say such harsh words but behave in such a weak manner. I originally thought that Zhou Shan would be like Wu Zai Ocean, angry and wanting revenge because of his son's death, but now it seems that his performance is shocking. Just when Lin Chen was about to speak, a dissatisfied voice suddenly came over. Lin Chen turned around and saw a beautiful young woman with a hot figure walking, and her long hair is swaying and her waist is dancing, exuding seductive charm. Her appearance immediately attracted everyone's attention. As soon as this beautiful young woman came in, she cried and shouted, Master, Zhou Yuan is dead. You want to avenge Zhou Yuan? Master, why are you kneeling here? However, Lin Chen noticed that although this beautiful young woman was heartbroken, her enchantment and charm were not diminished at all. Even among his many women, her charm is probably only comparable to that of Su Yun. Although Zhou Shan was kneeling, he was extremely domineering towards his woman. He shouted loudly, Get out of here! Is the Hall of Consciousness a place for women like you? His voice was full of majesty and dissatisfaction. The beautiful young woman obviously hadn't figured out the situation yet. She continued to pester Zhou Shan, Master, my son Zhou Yuan is dead. Don't you care? However, at this moment, a loud slap suddenly hit the beautiful young woman's face. Surprisingly, the person who beat her was not Zhou Shan, but her daughter Josiah Oxio. The slap was so hard that 5 bright red fingerprints immediately appeared on the beautiful young woman's face. She was stunned, looking at Josiah Oxio with eyes full of surprise and confusion. Zia Oxio, what are you doing? Your brother is dead, aren't you sad? Seeing this harmonious scene, Lin Chen decided not to waste time anymore. He said calmly, Okay, Zhou Shan, I'll give you a chance. Get rid of all the men in the Zhou family immediately, and I will let you go. Zhou Shan seemed to be controlled by some kind of force. His eyes flashed with crazy light, and he began to scan the Zhou family without hesitation. This time, most of the senior people who came to the Hall of Consciousness were men, so when Zhou Shan's eyes fell on them, they all showed expressions of anger and fear. Damn it, Zhou Shan, you dare to touch me? My son will never let you go, a person roared, his voice full of threats and fear. Zhou Shan, what stupid thing are you doing? Another person asked in horror, his eyes flashing with uneasiness and despair. Zhou Shan, as a clan leader, how could you do such a heartless thing? Aren't you afraid of retribution? Another person yelled angrily, his voice full of anger and condemnation. However, Zhou Shan seemed to have lost his mind at this time. There was only fear of Lin Chen and desire for revenge in his eyes. As if he was crazy, he began to launch crazy attacks on those male family members. Half an hour later, the entire Zhou family fell into chaos and blood. There are more than 300 people in the Zhou family, with men accounting for the majority, but at this moment, Zhou Shan has almost eliminated them all by himself. Walking on the road to the villa area, you can smell the evil smell of blood everywhere, and the entire Zhou family has become a hell on earth. Zhou Shan knelt in front of Lin Chen and said with a trembling voice, Sir, I listened to your words and killed everyone in the Zhou family. However, Lin Chen looked at him indifferently and said lightly, Okay. Since you are willing to kill even your own people, then you should die too. As soon as he finished speaking, Zhou Shan's body was pierced by Lin Chen's thunder gun, and the ground was dyed red with blood. Lin Chen knew that he could not tolerate such a useless figure in the apocalypse. Otherwise, once you leave Luo City and go to other cities, this kind of people will become the biggest disaster. Therefore, he did not hesitate to deal with Zhou Shan to avoid future troubles. In the only room in the Zhou family villa that was not polluted, Josiah Oxio and a dozen beautiful young women were quietly waiting for Lin Chen's arrival. Their faces were full of fear and anxiety, fearing that this devil-like man would take them away. However, Josiah Oxio Chapter 83 This kind of request really has to be from you. However, in this solemn atmosphere, a rare evil smile appeared on Josiah Oxio's face, especially when Lin Chen walked in. He actually walked directly in front of Lin Chen and began to introduce him with an unprecedented generous gesture. Master, There are more than 10 women here. Except for 7 women who are my father's wives, the others are all young ladies. Lin Chen nodded, giving Josiah Oxio great confidence, and she continued, the first one, Song Kinger. I don't think I need to introduce you too much. I can see your eyes straight. The second one is Zhao Yuan, the former eldest lady of the Zhao family in Yangchang. She can be Lolly, Sister K, or even whatever type you want, she can do it. However, if we really want to talk about the most unique and rare among these women, Zuiner Yi lives up to her name. She was born in the Yi family in Yangchang, and is the eldest lady of the Yi family today. Her status is extremely noble. Maybe you will be attracted by her wearing a two-dimensional style of clothing. We were fooled into thinking that she was a young woman who pursued fashion, but in fact, deep down in her heart, she was extremely devout to her Christian faith. Have you ever imagined that in order to pursue her, my father spent everything in the family and almost emptied the entire family? This persistent pursuit finally touched Zuiner's heart and made her decide to marry my father. As Josiah Oxio told this story, the atmosphere in the entire hall gradually became weird. Lin Chen listened quietly, but a strong interest arose in his heart. This girl looks lovely, but everything is one-sided. Josiah Oxio, you've had enough. This sudden shouting sound echoed in the quiet air, breaking Josiah Oxio's interest. As the voice sounded, the women on the side also echoed, yes, Zia Oxio, what are you doing? How dare you? Have you really forgotten that you are a member of the Zhou family? However, Josiah Oxio seemed not to have heard what they said. She suddenly stood up and walked towards the 2 women who had just spoken. In the astonished eyes of everyone, she slapped both of them mercilessly. Pa! Pa! The crisp sound of a slap echoed in the room. Who am I? Have you forgotten? I don't know who you are. I only know that Lin Chen is my master. Do you understand? No, I think we're all crazy. Seeing that Josiah Oxio could hardly control the situation, Lin Chen was ready to intervene and walked towards Song Kinger, Zhao Yuan and others. It has to be said that Zhou Shan's strength is not good, but he has a good vision in choosing his wife, especially with Josiah Oxio's narration. These 7 wives are really getting more and more beautiful, and even the yellow-flowered ladies on the side are a little behind. Sir, if you have the guts, kill me. Song Kinger, the eldest wife, bit her thin lips and said, but one thing I have to tell you is that our Song family is also a famous family in the entire Central Plains region. We are not comparable to families like the Zhou family. If you kill me, you will suffer a lot. Why should I kill you? On the contrary, I should treat you well. Lin Chen said with a smile. Boy, you are dirty. If you want to take me down, you have to kick me to death. The eldest wife Song Kinger stood up angrily, her voice full of determination and anger. Tears flashed in her eyes. Obviously angered by Josiah Oxio and Li Chen's words, she turned around and prepared to find a place to hide her dead to protest this humiliating treatment. Oh, this is the first time I have heard such a request. I will satisfy you. Well, boom, with a muffled sound, Song Kinger was kicked backwards and fell heavily to the ground. Chapter 84. Josiah Oxio is looking for a stepfather for her biological mother online. With this exclamation, Song Kinger was kicked to the ground severely. She touched her injured butt painfully, with anger and helplessness flashing in her eyes. However, just when she was about to scold Lin Chen fiercely, Lin Chen suddenly hugged her gently. Lin Chen looked down at the delicate and beautiful young woman in his arms. A smile flashed in his eyes. He said softly, Madam, I have been merciful this time. If you are still so misbehaved next time, don't blame me for being rude. By the way, if I am cruel, you may not just say it will take at least 2.5 hours to say When the other ladies in the room and the maidens saw this scene, they were speechless. For a moment the Zhou family had experienced Lin Chen's ruthless tactics with blood and tears just now, but compared to this, his unique hobby was even more jaw-dropping. In this doomsday era, surviving is already a luxury. Who'll have the extra energy to support so many women? However, Lin Chen didn't seem to care about this. Song Kinger felt Lin Chen's warm chest. Although she was angry in her heart, she was still tough on her lips. She glared at Lin Chen and said, Boy, do you think I won't be able to do anything if I leave Zhou Shan? Let me tell you, even if you get my people, you won't get my heart. Moreover, my sisters are not yours to offend. You are the most. I really want to know the consequences. Hearing this, Lin Chen's eyes flashed with interest. He said calmly, Background? I'm not interested in your background. But I am very interested in those girls in your big family who have amazing figures and good looks. If you can send them all over, maybe I will consider tonight. Be gentle with you. You are vile. How could there be someone like you? Even if I die, I will not obey you. Song Kinger said. Who knows, Just when Lin Chen was about to continue expressing his views, Josiah Oxio suddenly interrupted. Her voice was clear and firm, as if there was an irresistible force. Master, please allow me to interrupt. There is something I believe you will be very interested in. That is about my mother, Song Kinger. Over the years, she bought a large number of adult props because my father did not favor her. If you really want her to do your bidding, maybe you can try using these props. Believe me, as long as you take it out, she will definitely accept you as her master willingly. Josiah Oxio's words were like a pebble thrown into a calm lake, causing ripples. Even Lin Chen couldn't help but be stunned for a moment, secretly marveling at the magical effect of the upgraded blood oath. He never thought that Josiah Oxio would make such a suggestion, which made him become more interested in this person. However, for Song Kinger, Josiah Oxio's words were like a thorn piercing her heart. She was so angry that she was shaking all over. After 18 years of upbringing, she never expected that her adopted daughter would actually speak for outsiders. She couldn't understand what went wrong and made the relationship between her and her daughter so strange. Josiah Oxio, I'm your mother. What on earth are you doing? Song Kinger shouted angrily, her voice full of disappointment and anger. Lin Chen looked at the scene in front of him with a playful smile on his lips. He patted Josiah Oxio's shoulder lightly and said, well, not bad, not bad. I will consider your suggestion carefully later in the evening. By the way, Josiah Oxio, you go out with me. After saying that, Lin Chen took Josiah Oxio and left the room. Before they left, Lin Chen suddenly used the ability to summon zombies. Now his ability to summon zombies has been upgraded to level 4, and the zombies he summoned have at least level 3 strength. Although these zombies did not actively attack the ladies in the room, they were full of deep fear and uneasiness. For those who had never come into contact with zombies for a moment, the atmosphere in the room became extremely tense. Master, where are we going now? Josiah Oxio asked shyly, and was hugged tightly by Lin Chen. Lin Chen responded calmly, tell me the location of your Zhou family's warehouse. I plan to take away all the materials inside. Josiah Oxio thought for a moment and replied, the warehouse is located in the northwest corner of the villa area. However, the Zhou family's supplies are very large, and it may be difficult for you to take them all away by yourself. Lin Chen smiled softly and comforted, don't worry about this, leave it to me. Soon after, they arrived at the Zhou family's warehouse. Although the warehouse looks unremarkable from the outside, once inside, Lin Chen couldn't help but be amazed at the scene in front of him. This warehouse is so large in size and rich in categories that it even exceeds the largest Walmart supermarket in Los Angeles. Lin Chen thought to himself, now that the end is imminent, a pack of instant noodles will trigger fights between people, and even vendettas. Needless to say, if such food were placed anywhere, an army could be mobilized to rebel. No wonder Zhou Shan dared to cooperate with the Zhao family and Yang Cheng in an attempt to capture Luo Cheng and Yang Cheng in one fell swoop. There is still something Josiah Oxio proudly introduced, Master, this warehouse is one of the best in the entire Luo city. No one dares to compete with the Zhou family's strength in this area. Lin Chen nodded, and then asked, does your Zhou family have a survivor base? Josiah Oxio was stunned for a moment, then replied, yes, there is indeed one in the Zhou family. There are some people who are living in the apocalypse, and they rely on the Zhou family to seek shelter. A glimmer of interest flashed in Lin Chen's eyes, and he continued to ask, do you know anything about these people? Josiah Oxio shook his head and replied, I don't know much about them. I just know that they live in the base and are provided with supplies and protection by the Zhou family. Lin Chen didn't speak anymore, but directly used his space power. With the upgrade of his powers, a 50x50x50 cube space was formed in his spiritual sea, not to mention accommodating one warehouse of Zhou's family. There is no problem even if it accommodates 10 of his warehouses. With a wave of his hand, all the materials in the warehouse disappeared without a trace, and they were all taken into the space by him. Josiah Oxio witnessed all this, his eyes full of shock and awe. She exclaimed, Master, you are truly a god. I have never seen such ability. Okay, the ladies are still waiting for us. Let's go to the survivor base quickly and get down to business. After leaving a message, Lin Chen took Josiah Oxio towards the survivor base. Chapter 85. The schoolgirl's choice is indeed different. Although Lin Chen is not that kind of selfless virgin, in this era when doomsday is approaching and survival is paramount, he knows the importance of mastering more survivor bases and even controlling the entire Los Angeles city. This is not only to increase his personal strength, but also to stabilize his position in this chaotic world. Whenever he takes down a survivor base, it seems that he is distributing food and rescuing helpless refugees, but in fact, he is also investing in his own future. After all, among these survivors, Who can guarantee that there will not be women of outstanding quality or even beauty? Needless to say, Lin Chen has now passed 9 consecutive kills and successfully became a level 5 superpower user. Therefore, such a harvest is undoubtedly a profitable business for Lin Chen. Moreover, by controlling these survivor bases, Lin Chen can further understand the situation in Luo City and master more resources and information. This is of immeasurable value to his survival and development in this doomsday world. Therefore, whenever there is an opportunity to capture a new survivor base, Lin Chen will take action without hesitation and firmly control it in his hands. Lin Chen and Josiah Oxio soon arrived at the Zhou family's survivor base. The atmosphere here is obviously different from other places, with a sense of depression and uneasiness in the air. When the survivors saw Josiah Oxio, their reaction was even stronger, as if they had seen some terrible monster. They all moved away. However, some people still found the courage to walk out of the house. The leader is a tall man with a resolute face named Wu Qiang. He looked at Lin Chen and Josiah Oxio cautiously, with a hint of helplessness in his tone. "Miss Zhou, why are you here again? We really have no food anymore. Can you let us go?" Lin Chen noticed that Josiah Oxio didn't seem to be welcome here, so he explained, "Brother Wu, you misunderstood. We are not here to ask for food, but to deliver food to you." Josiah Oxio may have had some behavior before you are dissatisfied, but please believe me, as your owner, I will be responsible for her and protect this survivor base from now on. You no longer have to worry about the oppression of the Zhou family. Hearing these words, Wu Qiang showed a trace of doubt and disbelief on his face. He is well aware of the strength and influence of the Zhou family. Can this young man who suddenly appears really change their destiny? Before the end of the world, the Zhou family was already known to everyone in Guangdong district. They act domineeringly and do whatever they want without caring about others, and now that the doomsday is coming, the Zhou family's strength has expanded to the extreme. How can they easily let go of this survivor base? Wu Qiang felt bitter in his heart. They had originally hoped that his and his brother's powers could protect everyone, but when he went out yesterday, his brother died unexpectedly without the support of his younger brother. He felt helpless. He knew that even if they knew it was the Zhou family who is responsible, they would have no room to resist. Just as Wu Qiang and Lin Chen were talking, a crisp and familiar voice suddenly sounded. "Is that you, Lin Chen?" Lin Chen turned around and was surprised to find that the young man standing next to Zhou Qiang turned out to be his student. "My younger sister is Yang Yichen. Why are you here?" Lin Chen was very surprised. He didn't expect to meet his schoolgirl in this doomsday survivor base. Recalling the days before the apocalypse, Lin Chen could always see Yang Yichen's energetic figure on campus. She loves fashion and always wears mature and attractive clothes. However, at this moment, Yang Yichen looked a little shabby, and her original glory seemed to have been obscured by years and hardships. Lin Chen couldn't help but feel an inexplicable sadness in his heart. He understood that this period of time was difficult for everyone. Perhaps Yang Yichen became so haggard because of the hard life during this period. However, although Yang Yichen's appearance has changed, the joy and excitement shining in her eyes have not changed. Seeing Lin Chen, she seemed to see hope, which was a kind of warmth and dependence that was rare in the apocalypse. "It's really you. Great," Yang Yichen said excitedly, with unspeakable joy in his voice. "Yichen, do you know him?" Wu Qiang asked. I know. He's so nice. He used to help me with my homework." When he mentioned doing homework, Yang Yichen's ears turned red. All of a sudden Lin Chen, the person involved, also smiled slightly when he heard this, remembering the scene of homework tutoring at that time. Yang Yichen's academic performance has always been unsatisfactory. Lin Chen saw it and was anxious in his heart. In order to encourage her to study hard, he decided to take action personally and invited Yang Yichen to his home to tutor her homework. Although Yang Yichen had been living on campus and was a little hesitant about such an invitation, she finally agreed after Lin Chen's persuasion. "This is the house I rent. It's a bit rundown. You drink a glass of water first, and I'll give you some guidance after you finish it." Lin Chen handed a glass of water to Yang Yichen's hand, and his eyes couldn't help but look up and down her body. Yang Yichen's appearance and figure are indeed impossible to ignore. Her facial features are exquisite and picturesque. Her skin is as fair as jade, and her long black hair is draped smoothly on her shoulders, adding a bit of goddess-like temperament. And her figure is as enchanting as water, always giving people the feeling of wanting to conquer. The most eye-catching thing is her proud European figure, which seems to be plumper and taller than girls of the same age. This makes her youthful atmosphere more intense, like a blooming flower, attracting the attention of countless people. No wonder there are so many boys pursuing her. Her charm is indeed unstoppable. Lin Chen couldn't help but sigh in his heart. Such a girl is really rare. I've finished drinking. Let's start tutoring homework. Yang Yichen said okay, let's start with the most basic math questions. Let's first say that if you get a wrong question, you will be punished once, and if you get a correct question, you will be rewarded once. Lin Chen took Yang Yichen to the study and gave her an exercise book with Wu San's name on her head. Okay, it's settled. Yang Yichen cooed 10 minutes later. It is done. Lin Chen checked it carefully. Wait, there's a problem here, there's a problem here, there's an even bigger problem here. Hearing this, Yang Yichen said innocently, I was a little careless, you girl. Since you are so careless, you must be punished today. Lin Chen began to punish him. He put his arms around Yang Yichen's small waist and started to use his hands and feet. Yang Yichen, who had just finished speaking, asked puzzledly, what are you doing? Punishment? This way, I will give you another chance. If you do something right, I promise that the reward I will give you will make you very satisfied. Do you believe it? Yang Yichen didn't believe Lin Chen's words, but suddenly her beautiful eyes lit up, as if she thought of something, and her pretty face suddenly turned red. What reward? Lin Chen leaned close to Yang Yichen's ear and whispered, you will know when you do it right. Harmonious content has been deleted. Chapter 86. Base Trader. Ahem. Wu Qiang coughed, breaking the silence around him and awakening Lin Chen and Yang Yichen from that warm pink memory. His eyes swept over Lin Chen's body, with a bit of scrutiny and doubt. Since this little brother is Yichen's classmate, he is one of our own. We welcome you to stay here. Wu Qiang tried his best to sound kind, but the commanding meaning in his words was unquestionable. He paused and continued, if you need to go out to look for food, then we can consider taking you with us. Lin Chen was slightly stunned. He felt the contempt and arrogance in Wu Qiang's words. His eyes became determined, and he decided not to tolerate this slight anymore. Brother Wu, you may be mistaken. Lin Chen's voice was calm but firm. What I just meant is that I will be covering this base from now on. Wu Qiang's expression changed. He didn't expect that this seemingly ordinary young man would dare to challenge his authority so arrogantly. He looked embarrassed and his tone became rude. Little brother, I respect you as Yichen's classmate, so I give you good advice. But don't forget, this is where we have the final say. You are young, so don't be too arrogant. Seeing the tense atmosphere, Yang Yichen hurriedly calmed down and said, Brother Wu Qiang, my classmate is not usually like this. Don't embarrass him. However, Wu Qiang did not back down. He smiled coldly and continued, young people, especially after awakening their powers, will inevitably feel that they are invincible. But little do they know the gap between us. Humph, who do you think you are? Before he finished speaking, suddenly, the air seemed to be torn apart by an invisible force. Then, a dazzling lightning flashed, and a thunder gun flew past Lin Chen's hand in an instant, and Wu Qiang's. The bodies passed by each other, bringing with it a blast of biting wind. Wu Qiang's eyes widened in horror, his body stiffened involuntarily, and even his breathing seemed to have stopped. A moment later, a deafening loud noise came, and a building behind Wu Qiang began to shake violently. The building seemed to be invaded by some mysterious force, and the entire building began to twist and deform. Then, with a deafening collapse sound, the entire building collapsed, throwing up a cloud of dust and gravel. At this moment, the entire base fell into silence. Everyone looked at this scene dumbfounded, completely unable to understand what was happening. Wu Qiang's face turned pale and he was sweating profusely. The shock and fear in his heart had reached its peak. He looked at Lin Chen, his eyes filled with disbelief and awe. He finally understood that this young man was not someone he could easily despise. You, what kind of monster are you? Wu Qiang swallowed nervously, with unconcealable panic in his voice. His eyes wandered over Lin Chen, fearing that this seemingly calm young man would suddenly attack and regard him as his next target. The commanding and arrogant tone just now has long since disappeared, replaced by deep awe and fear. Lin Chen glanced at him lightly and said calmly, I'm not a monster, I just want to tell you that I am the king of this base, and you only need to obey my orders. To Wu Qiang's ears, this seemed to be a will from God, which he could neither resist nor dare to resist. Wu Qiang's body trembled, and he knelt down in front of Lin Chen involuntarily, clasped his hands together, and begged eagerly, Brother, no, Lin Chen, please help my brother redress his injustice. The tears in his eyes shone with grief and anger. And he was obviously deeply saddened by what happened to his brother. Originally, he thought Lin Chen was just an arrogant person who talked nonsense, but after seeing the terrifying strength he just showed, Wu Qiang's thoughts completely changed. In this era of doomsday and dangers, clinging to the lap of the strong is undoubtedly the wisest choice. Justice. Lin Chen frowned slightly, feeling a little curious about this unfamiliar vocabulary. Wu Qiang quickly explained, Lin Chen, the thing is like this. Yesterday I led Yichen and other young people to go out to search for food. My brother Wu Gang stayed at the base to protect everyone. However, When we came back, we found that he and some brothers had suffered misfortune, and young women who were newly married were also defiled. What's even more irritating is that we don't even know who the murderer is. All I know is that the murderer often said flower girl when committing crimes. Hearing the word flower girl, Lin Chen's eyes suddenly became sharp as previous experiences flashed through his mind quickly, and he remembered that when Zhou Shan massacred all the men in the Zhou family, there was indeed a man from the little Japanese empire originally. He thought there might be a dragon-son hybrid in the Zhou Shan family, so he didn't think too much about it, but now when he heard what Wu Qiang said, he immediately realized that perhaps there might be a deeper connection between the Zhou family and the Xiaori Empire. I understand the situation. You take me to see your brother and I'll see how they died. Lin Chen said after pondering for a moment under Wu Qiang's trembling guidance. Lin Chen walked into the room. There was a black coffin placed in the room, and Wu Gang's body was placed in it. Lin Chen slowly opened the coffin lid, and a dull atmosphere hid his face. He looked down and saw that Wu Gang's body had become hard, like a zombie. The originally bright red blood had now turned as dark as ink and solidified on the skin, forming a shocking picture. Wu Gang's eyes were wide open, as if he would not close his eyes until death, revealing his unwillingness and anger at the cause of his death. Wu Qiang stood aside, with tears in his eyes and a choked voice. Lin Chen, when I came here, I could tell that the cause of my brother's death was unusual. Like me, he is a level 2 superpower. He can kill. Those who kill us must be at least level 3 superpowers. Lin Chen carefully observed Wu Gang's body, trying to find more clues from it. He found that the wounds on the body were distributed in a messy manner. It was obvious that the murderer did not use any specific moves or techniques when killing people. Instead, it seemed more like he was hacking and killing indiscriminately. This is completely different from the methods of the assassins of the Xiaoni Empire. Although the assassins of the Xiaoni Empire also use various methods, their methods are usually clean and neat and will never leave so many flaws. Combining Wu Gang's death and Wu Qiang's description, Lin Chen came to his own conclusion. The murderer is not necessarily stronger than Wu Gang, but he is very good at sneak attacks. Moreover, judging from the wounds, the murderer is probably an inexperienced novice. Otherwise there wouldn't be so many traces left. Sneak attack? Lin Chen, you mean, this is the work of our internal people? Wu Qiang was slightly stunned when he heard this word. With an expression of disbelief on his face, he couldn't accept this fact because they had always supported each other and faced various difficulties in this apocalyptic world. He never thought that there would be such a murderer hidden among his companions, attacking them secretly. How is this possible? Wu Qiang murmured to himself, with unconcealable trembling and anger in his voice. We are brothers who have experienced life and death together. How could someone do such a thing? Chapter 87. Large Peach. In a post-apocalyptic world, betrayal seems to be a common occurrence, happening every day. In order to survive, for those rare resources, or even for a trivial grudge, people will betray their former brothers and partners without hesitation. Therefore, when Wu Qiang's younger brother Wu Gang was killed by a mole, Lin Chen was not too surprised. He just left a faint sentence. Your brother was killed by a traitor, and I will avenge you. However, please gather everyone in the base now. I have something to announce. Wu Qiang's eyes flashed with determination. He clenched his fists tightly and said with a trembling voice, as long as you can help me find the traitor who killed my brother, I can do anything you ask me to do. Not long after, under the call of Wu Qiang, a dense crowd gathered in the square of the base. Lin Chen looked up and saw at least 1,000 people standing in the square, all their eyes focused on him. He wasted no time and showed his superpower directly in the center of the square. Potato seeds suddenly appeared in his hand. Then, these seeds increased rapidly like magic, and finally turned into 1,000 tons of potato seeds. Holy shit, that's a potato. Am I dazzled? How is this possible? I actually saw potatoes. I haven't had decent food in days. The crowd that was originally dissatisfied with Wu Qiang's call suddenly became excited when they saw the potato seeds in this apocalyptic world. Food is life and hope. This batch of potato seeds undoubtedly brought them hope of survival. However, just as everyone was excitedly trying to step forward, 3 level 3 zombie warriors suddenly appeared around Potato Seed. These zombie warriors are no different from ordinary people, but anyone with superpowers can feel the cold aura emanating from them. This is a zombie, Wu Qiang exclaimed. He was completely shocked by Lin Chen's abilities, and his heart was filled with awe and curiosity. Lin Chen did not explain anything, but simply glanced at everyone. My name is Lin Chen, and I am the new leader of this base. Everyone has a share of these seeds, but not without conditions. You need to use these seeds to plant potatoes instead of consuming them all for temporary satisfaction next year. When the time comes, I will charge a certain amount of interest in return for giving you the seeds, of course. If you choose not to obey my orders, my zombie warriors will make you understand that the consequences will never be something you can bear." He paused, turned to Wu Qiang and said, "Wu Qiang, when I am away, your words and actions will represent me. I hope you can take on this responsibility and contribute to the stability and prosperity of the base." As soon as he finished speaking, the originally noisy square suddenly became quiet. People looked at each other in confusion, seeming to be digesting what Lin Chen just said, but after only 3 seconds of silence, the whole square became noisy like boiling water. "Lin Chen, I am willing to give birth to a monkey for you," a young woman shouted excitedly, her face filled with admiration and desire. "Lin Chen, I don't want seeds, I only want you." A strong man shouted loudly, his eyes fixed on Lin Chen, as if he saw the idol in his heart. "Sir, I don't want seeds either." "Do you need me?" a woman in shabby clothes but with a delicate face asked shyly, her voice full of expectation faced with the enthusiasm and excitement of the crowd. Lin Chen did not feel surprised or uncomfortable. He knows that in this apocalyptic world, what people desire is not only the hope of survival, but also the longing and yearning for a better future. He smiled slightly, nodded to everyone, then turned around and led Josiah Oxio and Yang Yichen towards the Zhou family villa. At the same time, the atmosphere in the Zhou family villa seemed a bit solemn. "Eldest sister, do we really have to obey that boy like this?" Second sister Zhao Yuan's tone contained a hint of reluctance and doubt. The eldest sister Song Qinger glanced at her. A trace of helplessness flashed in her eyes. She rolled her eyes and said coquettishly, "Then what do you want to do? Haven't you seen those zombies staring at us? We have no room to resist now." Seventh sister Zhu on her side, her expression seemed a bit complicated. She said softly, "Sister, I promised Zhou Lang that I would love him for the rest of my life. You also know that the Christianity I believe in does not allow me to betray him." Song Qinger was silent for a moment. After hearing this, she was actually a little tangled in her heart. After all, she had deep feelings for Zhou Shan of the Zhou family, but the cruelty of reality forced her to make a choice. She thought of the adult toys that her daughter Josiah Oxio had mentioned, and she couldn't help but feel guilty. After all, those kinds of adult toys are more beautiful than the other. Needless to say, if Lin Chen used it, his legs would be too weak to stand up. At this moment, there was a rapid knock on the door. Immediately afterwards, the door of the villa was rudely pushed open. A group of men in black clothes with fierce faces broke in. They were armed and menacing. The zombie warriors Lin Chen had arranged before tried to resist, but were quickly knocked to the ground by these men in black. One of the women even brutally smashed the head of a zombie warrior, causing blood to fly everywhere. "It turns out that you guys are here, making us look for it for so long, FK. But this zombie is still a bit powerful. It actually has level 3 strength, and it almost overturned." A young woman speaking the language of the Eagle Sauce Empire came in. Her eyes glanced around the villa, and finally stopped at Song Qinger and others. "Captain, how come everyone in the Zhou family is dead this week? Didn't you promise to come to greet us before?" a subordinate asked in confusion. The woman called the captain snorted coldly. She obviously didn't care about this situation. She said gloomily, "Everyone is dead, it's none of our business. Have you forgotten the purpose of our coming to Dragon Kingdom? Our mission is to capture Luo City first, and then wait for the ruins to be open to snatch the rare treasures." This woman is none other than Ivanka, the captain of the second team sent to the ruins by the Eagle Sauce Empire previously. Ivanka and Zhou Shan, the patriarch of the Zhou family, carefully planned a conspiracy. They planned to take the opportunity to take over Luo City. However, to their surprise, both Zhou Shan and his informant died accidentally. Ivanka originally planned to cooperate with the informant inside and outside after arriving at Zhou's house, but now Zhou Shan's death has saved him a lot of trouble. What made her even more happy was that although Zhou Shan was dead, the dozen or so beautiful young women in the Zhou family villa were not taken away. This aroused the female desire deep inside her. "I don't know who Zhou Shan offended this time, but he ended up like this. He died, but no one took his wife away." Ivanka laughed at Zhou Shan's tragic fate. "Since no one is taking her away, I won't be polite." Ivanka's eyes revealed greed and obscenity. "Captain is brilliant. How can I enjoy it for a while first?" a subordinate asked flatteringly. "FKU, do you think you are the captain? The captain picks first, and we pick last. Don't you even understand this rule?" Another subordinate glared at him and scolded him sternly as this group of people from the Yingjiang Empire rushed into the villa. The relaxed mood of the eldest sister Song Qinger, the second sister Zhao Yuanigan and others suddenly fell to the bottom. They originally thought that someone finally came to save them, but from the words and smiles of the people from the Eagle Sauce Empire, They were keenly aware of the danger at this moment. A subordinate suddenly said, "Captain, wait, I saw the message sent by the informant before. He said that we should not come because the person who killed him was a superpower from the Dragon Kingdom." Superpower? Captain Ivanka was slightly startled. Chapter 88: The Mysterious Strong Man. When Ivanka heard her subordinates mention the superpowers of the Dragon Kingdom, Ivanka couldn't help laughing loudly, and the laughter was full of contempt and disdain. A superpower from the Dragon Kingdom? Can that be considered a superpower? Ha 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 ha, she scoffed. Ivanka, who has a prominent family background in the Eagle Country, has seen countless people with superpowers, at least hundreds of them. Therefore, in her eyes, the superpowers of Dragon Kingdom are not worth mentioning at all. Even the rumored strongest superpower in the Dragon Kingdom, in Ivanka's opinion, may not be comparable to Yingjiang's superpower after all. In addition to having powerful superpowers, the Yingjiang Kingdom also has advanced and powerful scientific superpowers as weapons, which is unmatched by the Dragon Kingdom. Yes, who are the superpowers of the Dragon Kingdom? Who is our captain? How can we be afraid of the so-called superpowers of the Dragon Kingdom? The subordinates echoed, their words full of doubts about Ivanka of worship, and everyone is full of strong interest and curiosity about Captain Ivanka. However, when they thought of her prominent father, they did not dare to think anything wrong. After all, the gap between status and status is like a world of difference, which is daunting. Oh, really? A sudden voice broke the tense atmosphere, and everyone's eyes turned to the source of the voice. I saw a young man in black walking in from outside the villa. His figure looked particularly mysterious under the afterglow of the setting sun. Who else could this young man in black be but Lin Chen? Ever since the zombie warriors were easily eliminated by Ivanka and others, Lin Chen immediately realized that the situation was not good. He quickly used his powers and rushed back to the villa as quickly as possible. As soon as he returned to the villa, Lin Chen was keenly aware that the steel armor worn by the person who exterminated the zombie warriors was different. The powerful aura exuded by the armor was obviously not something that a Little Sun Empire could possess. Therefore, he decided to eavesdrop outside the door to see the true identity and purpose of these people. However, since he did not understand the language of the Eagle Sauce Empire, he could only hear some fragmented words, like birdsong floating in his ears. However, when the Dragon Kingdom was mentioned, Lin Chen immediately understood it. With his high level of 145 points in the college entrance examination English. When did you come? One of the men asked nervously. He wears an advanced steel armor, which has high-end intelligent brain assistance and can easily sense any movement within 50 meters around him. However, at this moment, in front of Lin Chen, the most powerful brain armor that Yingjiang country was proud of seemed to be malfunctioning. It could not detect Lin Chen's presence, nor could it sense any of his movements. This made everyone feel surprised and confused, and at the same time they also had a deep fear of Lin Chen's identity and strength. You are a superpower from the Dragon Kingdom, right? You don't look good looking like this. Ivanka looked at Lin Chen with contempt, her eyes full of disdain. As the princess of the Eagle Sauce Empire, she has long been accustomed to looking at others with a haughty attitude. It has long been commonplace for her to look at people with their noses. Lin Chen only responded lightly to Ivanka's provocation. Oh, you can try it. Ivanka was obviously dissatisfied with Lin Chen's attitude. She ordered, Smith, come on, remember not to let him die too quickly. In her opinion, Lin Chen should be allowed to suffer some torture in the battle before dying. Would be a more appropriate punishment. When Smith heard this, his armor immediately changed. Gatling guns appeared one after another from behind, with the muzzles pointed at Lin Chen. His eyes revealed cruelty and coldness, as if he couldn't wait to put Lin Chen to death. However, facing this powerful offensive, Lin Chen did not show any fear. In broken English, he said politely, you all come together. There was a kind of domineering and confidence in his voice, as if he was capable of dealing with any enemy he faced. When the subordinates heard Lin Chen's words, they all felt angry and dissatisfied. They felt that Lin Chen was provoking and insulting them, so they activated their steel armors and prepared to attack Lin Chen. However, just when they were about to launch their attack, something unexpected happened. Everyone's bodies suddenly lost control. As if bound by an invisible force, they struggled to free themselves from this bondage, but to no avail. In the end, they could only fall to the ground helplessly and lost the ability to resist. This scene shocked and horrified Ivanka, Smith and others. They couldn't understand what happened, let alone how Lin Chen did all this. I saw Lin Chen walking over calmly, but Ivanka, Smith and others were lying on the ground unable to move at all. This is the upgraded Zixio Divine Thunder, which can paralyze opponents in a moment with thoughts. As long as your own mental power is not exhausted and is higher than the opponent's, you can be paralyzed for as long as you want. Seeing that Lin Chen had reached Ivanka, the large peach, Smith shouted, shut What are you doing? Don't touch my captain. Do you know who her father is? If I tell him, even if the hand you extended is cut off immediately, the Eagle Sauce Empire will not let you go. Lin Chen was confused when he heard this, but he only knew that this smith was probably another licker. Sure enough, dog licking has no regard for nationality, so he stretched out his hand and was ready to squeeze Ivanka. When Lin Chen used the system to identify Ivanka outside, he thought there was something wrong with the system. Name, Ivanka. Race, human. Gender, female. Quality, stunning. Occupation, Princess. Eagle Sauce. Appearance 97. Body 97. Power, S level. Power, Water God descends, level 3. Overall rating 97. This was the first woman with S level powers that Lin Chen had seen. This was really a rolling pin that poked her in the butt and opened her eyes. Bang! Following this deafening noise, both Lin Chen and Ivanka were so shocked that their eyes widened. Under the gaze of everyone, Lin Chen was forced to take 2 steps back by this force. This had never happened in previous battles. Do you Yingjiang people like to conduct sneak attacks? Lin Chen stabilized his body and glared dissatisfiedly at the surroundings. His voice revealed disdain and anger towards sneak attacks. If you don't show up again, I can consider it. Let your eldest lady Ivanka have a taste of my power and see who can poke her into bloom. Just when everyone felt confused, a slightly hoarse voice came from the darkness, seeming to laugh at Lin Chen's words. Ha ha ha, are all the people in the Dragon Kingdom so tough talking? Miss, if you had listened to me and not come to Long Country with me, maybe this situation wouldn't happen now, right? As the voice fell, a black shadow slowly walked out of the darkness, and his appearance made Lin Chen's face become solemn. Instantly he had noticed the aura of a strong man before, but he had never been sure of its authenticity. Now that he saw this black shadow, he finally understood where the source of that aura came from. Level 6 superpower? If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelists. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 89. Ivanka's strong family background. Level 6 superpower. Lin Chen exclaimed in his heart that this was the first time he had seen such a powerful person with his own eyes. Compared with level 5 superpowers, the strength of level 6 superpowers is completely different. Their combat effectiveness is often 60 to 80 times that of ordinary people. This is not only a numerical difference, but also an absolute depression in terms of strength. With the appearance of this super strong man, the originally noisy room suddenly became quiet. He was like a boulder dropped into a calm lake, causing all sound and movement to disappear. The shadow man turned around slowly, revealing an old face. Boy, I see you still have something. You have become a level 5 superpower at such a young age. His voice was low and powerful, like an echo coming from the abyss. Faced with such praise, Lin Chen just smiled faintly and responded, I think you are quite capable. You are so old and you are only a level 6 superpower. There was a calmness in his words and confident, as if they didn't take the old man seriously. The shadow man was stunned for a moment, and then laughed. Boy, you only have so much ability to talk hard. But I am also a person who loves talents. As long as you are willing to become a Yingjiang man, I can consider accepting you as a disciple. Not interested, Lin Chen said directly. A trace of surprise flashed in the shadow man's eyes, but he quickly covered it up. He said calmly, ha ha ha, good boy, good temper. But if you know that my name is Yingjiang Black Eagle Double Sword, then you may regret it. I remember how many young people wanted to be my apprentice. I don't even look down on it. As soon as he finished speaking, Ivanka's men screamed in surprise. Black Hawk Dual Sabers? That was our dream when we were children. The original Black Hawk Dual Sabers took on a mission that was impossible to complete, although in the end, I lost my left hand, but I succeeded in the end. At that time, I wanted to be a man like the Black Hawk Dual Swords, but aren't there 2 people with the dual swords? Why is there only one? Lin Chen on the side felt a little pain inexplicably when he heard that the old man had lost his left hand. It's okay if you lose your right hand, but if you lose your left hand, most of the fun in life will be lost. I don't know if this old man will live alone for the rest of his life. If so, it would be too difficult, Lin Chen thought in his heart. The shadow man did not answer his question, but turned around and walked in another direction. At this time, another shadow person walked out of the darkness. The two looked very similar, and they were obviously twins. Their appearance surprised and shocked everyone present. Cree, there are still people who remember us. The eldest brother of the twins said calmly. Michelson, no matter what, we have been famous for a long time. It is normal for younger generations to remember us. He continued, however, now is not the time to dwell on the past. The twins' eyes turned to Lin Chen, and the aura they exuded made the whole room feel oppressive. Boy, today I will let you know the consequences of insulting my young lady, McCree said coldly. As soon as he finished speaking, he and Michelson turned into two black shadows and pounced towards Lin Chen. Their speed and strength reached an astonishing level, making everyone present feel palpitations. Seeing this scene in front of them, Ivanka and others lying on the ground also showed relieved smiles. They knew that the appearance of this super strong man undoubtedly brought them hope of survival. It seems that this kid is finally going to suffer. In the face of true strength, his arrogance will become worthless. Someone was talking in a low voice, full of expectations for the upcoming showdown. Captain, look at it. Is this the strength of the legendary super strong man? Another voice was full of curiosity and awe. It's unimaginable. If I faced such a strong man, I might not even have the chance to escape. Someone sighed, feeling sorry for Lin Chen's upcoming fate. However, just as the black shadow was about to approach Lin Chen, the whole room suddenly shook, as if a powerful energy was gaining momentum. Is this boy resisting before his death? Before Ivanka's men could finish speaking, they were shocked by the scene in front of them. Lin Chen's body suddenly burst out with powerful energy, and purple electric light flashed around him, as if the god of thunder had arrived. This energy was so powerful that ripples appeared in the surrounding space, as if it was going to tear everything apart. When McCree saw this, he couldn't help laughing. Ha ha ha, you are a level 5 superpower. Do you think you can defeat a level 6 superpower? There was a trace of disdain in his eyes, and he didn't seem to care about Lin Chen took it seriously. However, Lin Chen was not afraid. He responded coldly, really? You can come and try. His words revealed strong confidence and determination. The next moment, the Black Eagle's swords collided with Lin Chen's, and black smoke filled the air instantly, blocking everyone's sight. Under the black smoke, it was impossible to tell whether Lin Chen was alive or dead, which made Josiah Oxeo, who arrived at this time, sweat for him. Just when Josiah Oxeo thought that Lin Chen was in danger, suddenly, two black figures were kicked out from the black smoke and smashed to the ground, while blood kept spitting out from the mouth. It was the Black Eagle double swords that were so arrogant and domineering just now. How is it possible? Ivanka looked at the Black Hawk, who was instantly killed by Lin Chen. Her eyes filled with shock and disbelief. She sighed softly and thought to herself, who is this person? How could he develop to this point in such a short period of time? As Ivanka's voice fell, a figure slowly walked out from the black shadow. He was covered in purple electricity and looked majestic, as if the god of thunder had come to the world. It's Lin Chen. His appearance shocked and awed everyone in this world. Nothing is impossible. After Lin Chen's words fell, his figure disappeared instantly. When he reappeared, he was already in front of Ivanka. He looked down at this beautiful woman with a unique light in his eyes. Ivanka's appearance was absolutely beautiful, and because she was frightened at this moment, her deep eyes with her hawk blood were even brighter. Her facial features are exquisite and picturesque, and her every frown and smile exudes an enchanting temperament, which seems to be able to seduce the soul of any man. Lin Chen couldn't help but be moved by it, but he quickly calmed down and prepared to achieve his goal. What are you going to do? Looking at Lin Chen's face getting closer and closer, Ivanka felt nervous. The men around her were powerless at the moment and could only watch this scene happen. What can I do? I just want you to be my woman. Lin Chen smiled slightly and raised Ivanka's fair chin so that she could not escape his gaze. Woman? Are you worthy? Listening to Lin Chen's words, Ivanka couldn't help but feel funny in her heart. She is a yin-jiang person with noble blood. How could she become someone else's woman so easily? Lin Chen didn't say much. He directly put his arms around Ivanka's waist and hugged her whole body. Then, he lowered his head, buried his face between Ivanka's collarbones, and took a deep breath. So moist. I hope you can be so strong later. Lin Chen whispered in Ivanka's ear, with a hint of teasing in his tone. Boy, do you know who is behind Ivanka? That's the famous Sichuan McCree, who had been lying on the ground unable to get up, roared angrily at this moment. But before he could finish speaking, Lin Chen shot him in the head with a thought. There's so much nonsense. So what if it's President Yin Jiang? However, after Lin Chen left these words, he walked out of the room without even looking back, leaving shock and confusion everywhere. Chapter 92. Many women can also be a problem, such as face blindness. After coming out, Lin Chen took Ivanka to another room. After coming out for a while, Lin Chen was not planning to take Ivanka away right here, but when he performed the blood oath, he didn't want others to know. Of course, another reason is that Dad, the god of creation, does not allow excessive sex, multiple PN, wearing colored hats, etc. in a day. Lin Chen didn't want to be punished again, so he had no choice but to use this incredible power. But that's what Lin Chen thinks. But not Ivanka. You, what are you going to do? You people from the Dragon Kingdom won't play with people to death like the people from the Xiaori Empire, right? That would be too painful. Can you just give me pain? Then I die. You can do whatever you want in the future, but I won't feel anything at all by then, Ivanka said nervously. Oh, you want to be played to death? Lin Chen joked. No, no, who wants to play to death? In our yin-jiang, we women all like to play with others. Bah, 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 why am I telling you this? What on earth are you going to do? Ivanka stared at the handsome Longuo native in front of her. In fact, if Lin Chen wasn't from the Dragon Kingdom and had such a handsome face, she might not really like him. Okay, it's all a matter of fun. I just want you to be my woman. Why is it so difficult? Lin Chen didn't say any more, and let's get down to business first. He first took off Ivanka's high heels underneath the steel armor, and then teased her. I have to say that the arch curve of this yin-jiang person is indeed different. You don't be like this, being teased like this. Ivanka blushed with rare beauty. Okay, my lovely wife is still waiting for me to come back. As they spoke, an ancient magic circle suddenly appeared at the feet of Lin Chen and Ivanka. 10 minutes later. Hello, master, I am your loyal Ivanka. Ivanka saluted. Afterwards, Lin Chen took out a purple couple's outfit from the space power, put it on Ivanka and returned to the room. As soon as they returned to the room, Ying Jiang and others were lying on the ground dying. They were shocked when they saw Ivanka like this. Captain, how did you become like this? Smith, as the #1 licker, can't imagine what happened to Ivanka in these short 10 minutes. But only Lin Chen said calmly, Ivanka, get rid of all the hawks like you. Then take my women home with you. Okay, master. Ivanka said coldly. It's impossible. Our Ivanka is the daughter of your excellency. She will never betray Yingjiang and kill Yingjiang people under any circumstances. Ivanka, I am the dog-licking Smith. By the time Smith finished speaking, Ivanka's high heels had already stepped on his face. My God, stepped on me, damn it, you licking dog, you are going to be killed by your goddess. The Yingjiang man on the side said angrily. You are not allowed to talk about my goddess like that. My goddess is not wrong. She is just rewarding me. Seeing this scene, Lin Chen was completely speechless. Dog licking has no nationality. Even if Boiling Yangayan comes today, he will hand over. Who is he? When he sees Smith like this after only a minute, Ivanka came back like the wind, with a sly and satisfied smile on her face, obviously very satisfied with the completion of the task just now. She acted so quickly that those Yingjiang people didn't even have time to react before she had already dealt with them properly. Master, it's been dealt with. Ivanka walked up to Lin Chen, lowered her head and reported respectfully. She even rubbed Lin Chen's arm several times with her truth. Whether intentionally or not, Lin Chen frowned slightly. He was not the god of creation. He really wanted to solve it on the spot. However, the most urgent thing is to go home first, otherwise the lovely wives at home will blame him for staying out all night and returning home empty-handed. You and Josiah Oxio will take care of the Zhou family, and then we will go home slowly. Lin Chen ordered. Upon hearing this, Ivanka immediately nodded and agreed. Do you want to go home? Yang Yichen spoke at this time. When she was fighting with Lin Chen, she was hiding aside and watching Lin Chen. Who would have thought that the big boy who was on her lap to help her with her homework would have grown into such a strong person? She couldn't help but feel admiration in her heart. It seemed that coming out of the survivor base this time was the right thing to do. Yang Yichen was thinking in his mind, still staring at Lin Chen intently. Do you want to come with me? Lin Chen said with a smile. There are really too many women who have gained from this. There are Song Kinger, who plays Josiah Oxio, and Zhou Yuan, Zhao Yuan, who can be a Lolita girl, and Yang Yichen, who is not weaker than the high school beauty, and even accidentally met her. Ivanka, the apple of her rivers. Can we come together? Yang Yichen felt a little nervous for a moment when he saw so many outstanding and beautiful wives and young ladies with amazing figures around Lin Chen. Of course. You think so? Lin Chen turned to face the crowd and said yes. The master said it is okay, so it must be okay. Josiah Oxio was the first to say. Then Ivanka also continued, yes, everyone belongs to the master, there is nothing wrong with it. As long as the master gives the order, even outdoor activities are not allowed for me. Okay, let's go, there's still some distance to go back. Lin Chen interrupted Ivanka and said, because there were many women around him. When Lin Chen and his party arrived at the Yazhao compound, night had already fallen. Fortunately, Lin Chen used the secret ability of the shadow in advance, and the zombies and other potential dangers within 100 meters along the way were quietly eliminated by the black shadow he summoned. Since the secret of shadows was upgraded to level 3, although it has not brought about a qualitative leap, The physical quality of the summoned shadow has reached 50% of Lin Chen's body. This kind of strength and agility is at least equivalent to the level of a mid-level 4th level superpower in today's Luo City. Except for those unpredictable corpse kings and corpse kings, there is almost nothing that can become their opponent. Lin Chen, are we almost there? Yang Yichen gently rubbed his feet and asked a little tiredly. Seeing Yang Yichen, who has not a superpower, walking away for so long, Lin Chen felt a surge of tenderness in his heart. He bent down and gently picked her up. This was not the first time he hugged her, but every time after holding her for a period of time, Yang Yichen would insist on getting down and walking. She knew that the group of beautiful and charming women behind her were staring eagerly, and she had no guts to dominate Lin Chen alone. Yeah, we're almost there. Lin Chen responded gently. At this moment, a black shadow suddenly fell from the sky, arousing everyone's alert. Is there a sneak attack? Ivanka said immediately alertly. It's okay, it's okay. Lin Chen comforted everyone and walked towards the black figure. When the black shadow approached, he revealed a pretty face with a seductive smile on it. Exactly. Chapter 91. Yes, yes, yes. It was Lin Chen's old friend, Liu Fei. Ever since Lin Chen asked Liu Fei to return to Asia compound alone, although she respected Lin Chen's decision, her heart was full of worries. She was afraid that Lin Chen's level 3 superpower would be insignificant in front of the Zhou family. However, she didn't know that Lin Chen's strength had already risen to the level of a level 6 superpower. Even with a blessing of the level 5 Zixia Divine Thunder, he could fight against ordinary level 7 superpowers. The reason why Lin Chen is so cautious when facing opponents with similar or higher levels than himself is actually because he wants to attract women in a subtle way instead of simply asking, "Can you be my woman?" He prefers to win their hearts through wit and strategy. After all, routines have won women's hearts since ancient times. If it is too simple and too crude, you will end up accidentally entering a dark room. When Liu Fei saw Lin Chen returning, she rushed over excitedly. She originally thought that Lin Chen would give her a warm hug, but when she got closer, she realized that Lin Chen was surrounded by a group of beautiful women. She couldn't help but feel a little disappointed, feeling that she seemed redundant. Lin Chen, you are back. However, looking at you like this, you seem a little proud, Liu Fei said with a slightly jealous tone. Lin Chen touched his head in embarrassment and said with a smile, "It's okay, it's just a fluke." Liu Fei responded angrily, "Brother Lucky, it's a good thing you live in a villa, otherwise there wouldn't be enough room for you to have so many women." It was already dark, and Lin Chen greeted Liu Fei and walked inside. "It's getting dark, let's go for a walk. We're going home," he said with a happy smile on his face. Liu Fei snorted, but her steps followed involuntarily. After a while, Su Yun and others, who were about to go to bed, heard Mikami Elegance calling for her husband's meeting. Everyone, who was so sleepy one by one, was not sleepy at all for a while. Of course I'm not sleepy anymore. Whoever can defeat Lin Chen tonight will be more difficult to suppress than 8xak. The next day when Lin Chen arrived at the door, all the women in the room rushed out. Suddenly, he saw a large number of family members behind Lin Chen. Any one of them is not a fuel-efficient lamp. Lin Chen really had become a superpower, and he actually dared to bring so many women home at once. It was only a few days after the end, but he actually did this. It will happen again in the future. Lin Chen saw that everyone was silent, but the expressions on their faces had already said everything, so he explained, "Dear wives, behind you are your sisters. I hope you can get along well with each other. It's not difficult to get along well. But who knows whether you will bring so many women back tomorrow." Yan Siqi, who has always been straight-tempered, said. Then the clone she had already summoned also said, "Yes, I still like the days when the main body, and you were playing poker together in the room. How innocent it was back then." Sure enough, there are too many women. Even if the legend of Zhen Huan doesn't break out, having to comfort so many women one by one is not allowed by the god of creation. Even though Lin Chen tried to comfort them one by one despite the pressure from the god of creation, there was not enough time. After all, Lin Chen is not a happy boy. However, at this delicate moment, Liu Fei stood up and smoothed things over for Lin Chen. As Lin Chen's best friend when he was in the orphanage, and also as his current woman, she explained to the women present, "Hello, sisters, I am Liu Fei. In fact, I know that Lin Chen brought so many women back today. You may be wondering, why did you let him do this? I don't know if any of you sisters have heard this sentence word. With great power comes great responsibility. Lin Chen has such great strength. If he doesn't save those little sisters living in dire straits, then who will save them?" Liu Fei's words eased the situation a little. At this time, Lin Chen's first woman Su Yun played the role of a big sister. She smiled and said to Liu Fei, This little sister named Liu Fair, you don't need to explain. In fact, we just talked to Lin Chen. Chen was joking. However, I noticed a blonde sister here. Lin Chen, why don't you introduce her to us? Suyun's eyes turned to Ivanka. A trace of curiosity flashed in her eyes. In her opinion, although the women from the Little Sun Empire brought back by Lin Chen were somewhat similar in appearance to the people from the Dragon Kingdom, they were still yellow after all. But this blonde sister felt very novel to her. And she couldn't help but begin to imagine how this Yangma was different from the yellow race, whether it's from saying no to countless yes, or whether it's crazy FKU when I can't stand it any longer. Upon hearing Suyun's inquiry, Ivanka, who had been educated in Sichuan Chinese since she was a child, replied in fluent Chinese, "Hello, sister, my name is Ivanka. I am very happy to come to Lin Chen's home today. I have just been here seeing how elegant you are. I thought you were Master Lin Chen's mother." At this point, she suddenly realized that she might have said the wrong thing and quickly covered her mouth. Seeing this, Lin Chen quickly interrupted Ivanka and explained, "Ahem, Ivanka, she is my woman, my loving aunt. Not my mother." He knew in his heart that although Suyun was old enough to be his mother, in his heart, Suyun could only be his woman at this time. Ivanka also realized that she had said the wrong thing, and she quickly added, "I'm sorry, mistress, I'm stupid. But although I am stupid, my strength is not stupid at all. I am willing to sacrifice my life to protect his women when danger occurs." As soon as she finished speaking, the girls were completely shocked. They did not expect that this foreign woman would say such words, which made them admire Lin Chen's strength even more. In addition to Suyun and others who were shocked, even Song Kinger and others who had just followed Lin Chen all the way here were also bewildered. They knew that the Black Shadow dual blades had revealed Ivanka's powerful background overtly and covertly, but they did not expect that Ivanka would swear to Lin Chen's women so quickly that she would sacrifice her life to protect them. This is Mao Chuan's precious daughter. If Mao Chuan knew about this, the whole eagle sauce would be shaken. However, except for Song Kinger and others who thought so, Suyun and others could not think of that much. They just glanced at each other subconsciously, and couldn't help but begin to guess about Lin Chen's powers. They knew that Lin Chen was very powerful, but they didn't expect that his powers could force people to become servants. This made them more in awe of Lin Chen. He is worthy of being the man who makes them complain every day and everywhere. Chapter 92. The super strong man from across the ocean is coming. At this moment, across the vast ocean, in a famous white building in the country of Eagle Sauce, a blonde old man was immersed in a group of beautiful blonde girls. The existence of these beautiful girls seemed to bring a rare tranquility and comfort to the old man, as if they were isolated from the disturbances of the outside world since the apocalypse broke out. Yingjiang's land has also been invaded by zombies. However, this blonde old man chose to die. He knew that man could conquer nature. If he was eaten by zombies and mutated, it would be his own fate. He was not afraid, just enjoying the tranquility in front of him. However, at this peaceful moment, the door to the room was pushed open without warning. Moreover, due to the great inertia upon entering, the red wine in the old man's hand spread everywhere among the blondes around him. This sudden interruption made the blonde old man frown slightly. It was obvious that he was dissatisfied with this. "Robert, what are you going to do? Why did you get it everywhere? My woman also has mine." There was a hint of dissatisfaction in the old man's voice. "How dare you enter my room without knocking? Do you want to directly replace me next time?" Facing the old man's questioning, Robert seemed a little at a loss. He knew that old men liked beautiful women, especially those plump and charming adult women. How could he dare to be negligent at all? What's more, he had just received urgent news. The importance of this news made him dare not delay, even at the risk of being scolded by the old man. "Your Excellency, please forgive me for my offense this time. But indeed, I have something urgent to report to you." Robert's voice contained a hint of nervousness and anxiety. "Are the most urgent things as important as the things I enjoy now?" The blonde old man interrupted Robert coldly. With obvious dissatisfaction and boredom in his tone, he waved his hand and motioned for Robert to go out. "Get out. Don't let me see you again, otherwise you won't have to look forward to seeing the sun tomorrow." As he said that, he also rubbed the blonde man wearing a small dress next to him. The face of the beautiful girl dressed as the White Rabbit seems to want to calm down her anger in this way. The old man secretly wondered why his friends always like to go to the so-called Lolly Island. In his opinion, can that island be more comfortable than the environment he is in now? He looked around, and everywhere he looked were plump and charming adult women. This kind of enjoyment could not be provided by the immature little Lolita on the island. But Robert seemed to want to explain something. But seeing that the old man was completely angry, he could only swallow his words. He knew that his situation at this moment was very dangerous. and he could lose his life if he was not careful. How come there are so many? The blonde old man shouted angrily. With strong majesty and anger in his voice, he glared at Robert and told him to get out immediately. Get out, don't let me say it a second time. Although the old man tried hard to suppress his anger, the irritable mood in his heart could no longer be concealed. Although he does not like to tear other people's bodies apart, as some people say, the blonde old man is by no means a good person. He has his own methods, and methods that make people afraid to provoke him easily. Your Excellency, this is about Miss Ivanka. Seeing that his life was in danger, Robert said quickly. He knew that only by mentioning Miss Ivanka could the old man calm down. Sure enough, after hearing this name, the old man's expression softened a little. Ivanka? Has she caused me trouble again? The blonde old man frowned, seeming to be used to Ivanka's mischief. He recalled that Ivanka had told him before that she planned to explore the ruins of Los Angeles, and also asked him to send a pair of Black Hawks to accompany her for protection. The old man shook his head slightly, thinking that this girl was so bold that she didn't even notify him when she arrived in the Dragon Kingdom. However, Robert's next words made the old man's face instantly darken. Miss Ivanka, it's not that I didn't tell you that she went to Dragon Kingdom, but she was kidnapped. Robert carefully told this shocking news, and he was already prepared to face the old man's anger. Kidnapping? What is this girl doing again? The old man did not completely believe Robert's words at first, thinking that this was just a story deliberately made up by Ivanka to attract his attention. However, as Robert repeated kidnapped, the old man's face instantly became solemn. Robert, tell me clearly, who was kidnapped? Damn it, someone actually dared to kidnap my daughter. Where are the Black Hawk swords? Are they trash? The old man roared angrily, his voice revealing a strong dissatisfaction and disappointment with the Black Eagle's double swords. Robert tremblingly handed the tablet to the old man, his hands trembling because of nervousness. The video of Ivanka before she was kidnapped was playing on the tablet. The old man took the tablet and clicked on the video. Ivanka in the video was originally very proud and confident, but when she witnessed the Black Shadow's double sword being instantly killed in front of Lin Chen, her expression instantly became panicked, and her eyes were full of fear and helplessness. However, just when everyone thought that Ivanka would fall into the abyss of despair, she and Lin Chen returned from outside 10 minutes later. This time, her eyes were determined to join the party, and she directly turned off the video broadcast function. The old man witnessed all this, and the anger in his heart burned like a volcano erupting. He gritted his teeth and cursed, WTFK, who is this boy? Doesn't he know that this is my daughter? How dare he violate her? Is this boy worthy? Robert carefully reported the report. Your Excellency, this kid has not left a record in the database of superpowers, but judging from the fact that he can kill the Black Hawk double sword instantly, I am afraid that his strength has reached the level of a level 7 superpower. Robert's words made the old man's anger even more uncontrollable. He stood up suddenly, and the blonde beside him was thrown out mercilessly. Her body drew an arc in the air, and finally fell heavily to the ground, her life or death uncertain. Go. Call Will over here. The old man ordered coldly. When Robert heard this name, he couldn't help but trembled in his heart. Will, the youngest level 7 psychic in Eagle Sauce, is world famous for his cruel methods and powerful strength. Before he became famous, he had caused bloody massacres in countless cities, so he was known as the Will or the Wisp Boy from Hell. Robert did not dare to neglect and immediately contacted Will. He knew that this matter was beyond their control, and only a strong man like Will could deal with Lin Chen. Chapter 93: Unlocking a New Identity. The shadow on the other side of the ocean is gradually approaching, but the person involved, Lin Chen, is enjoying a rare leisure time at this moment. After the long journey from the Zhou family to the Azhao compound, it was already dark, and Su Yun and others decided not to torment Lin Chen anymore, so they gave him a privilege, to sleep peacefully in the arms of the blonde beauty Ivanka. When he slowly opened his sleepy eyes, everything in front of him gradually became clear. I'm sorry, Master, for disturbing your rest. I didn't mean to wake you up, Ivanka whispered, hurriedly wiping Lin Chen's face as she spoke. However, before Ivanka could finish speaking, Lin Chen grabbed her hand and chuckled. It's okay, I don't blame you. Ivanka was slightly stunned. She originally thought that Lin Chen would be surprised or uncomfortable with her body. However, Lin Chen's reaction was beyond her expectation. By the way, you haven't told me your secret yet, Lin Chen added with a smile, which made Ivanka couldn't help but reveal a shy smile. It seems that we are going to have a good exchange this time. When he thought of this, Lin Chen looked up and looked at the time. It was already 6 o'clock in the morning the next day. The time is just right. Father God of Creation will not sanction him any more. Than Lin Chen quickly climbed up from Ivanka's arms and hugged her small waist. Seeing Lin Chen's behavior, Ivanka did not reject it at all. Instead, she tried to be more docile. She put her hands directly on Lin Chen's shoulders to facilitate Lin Chen and asked knowingly, "Master, what secret do you want to know?" 2.5 hours later she longed to have a good rest, lie on a soft bed, and let her tired body completely relax. At this moment, a cold mechanical sound finally sounded. Although it came belatedly, it brought Lin Chen an unexpected surprise. Congratulations to the host for successfully unlocking the stunning quality object. The host is specially awarded 500,000 points. The system's voice was as sweet as the sound of nature, making Lin Chen's mood instantly rise. Immediately afterwards, the system continued to announce, in view of Lin Chen's unlocking the 8-kill achievement, it will now consume 500,000 points to unlock the title of psychic power user. For the host, your mental power will be increased by 1,000 points, and other attributes will also be increased by 100 points, and all abilities will be increased by 1 level. Lin Chen couldn't help being stunned when he saw such a system prompt. He was full of curiosity and doubts about the title of psychic power user. Mental power users refer to those whose mental power far exceeds ordinary power users. They can control everything through mental power and show amazing abilities. Note, the values of mental power users can be directly converted to the level of an ordinary superpower. For example, when your mental power reaches 2,000 points, even if the other values have not reached the level of an 8th level superpower, you can become a real level 8 superpower with the powerful explosive power of mental power. After listening to the system's explanation, Lin Chen's eyes shone with excitement. He realized that this unlocking not only greatly improved his mental power, but also opened a brand new door for him. He opened the system panel. Host, Lin Chen, age 20, strength 1315, agility 1290, mental power 2190, physique 1265. Level, early stage of level 6 ordinary superpowers. Level 6 superpowers are 60 times the value of adults. Early stage of level 8 psychic superpowers. Level 8 superpowers are 100 times the value of adults. Items, ice silk bikini 5+, unopened Balenciaga stockings 4, purple sexy lace underwear 1, ice silk binding rope 4.8550 skills. 1. Purple sky divine thunder, level 6. 2. Status immunity, level 6, 3. Space power, level 6, 4. Summon zombies, level 5, 5. Secret of shadow, level 4, 5. Made blood oath, level 3. It's okay if you don't open the properties panel. Once you open it, even Lin Chen can't help but give it a try. Lin Chen slowly stood up from the bed. The moment he stepped on the ground, he noticed a strange change. He stepped down from the bed, and as soon as his feet touched the ground, he was keenly aware of an unusual change. Whether it is vision, hearing, or even smell, it seems that there has been a qualitative change. Recalling the feeling when he became a superpower, Lin Chen found that the change this time was much stronger than before. Although the experience of becoming a superpower had given Lin Chen a similar experience, this time it seemed particularly intense and profound. At this moment, he seemed to be able to feel the tiny movements of every plant, tree, sand and stone within a radius of 1 kilometer. This new sense of perception both excited and surprised him. If the previous ability improvement was a trickle, then now it feels like a scourge. Unstoppable. Lin Chen soon set his sights on the lazy sofa in the room, which was where Lin Chen and Song Yuanying played poker together last time. Unexpectedly, the beanbag floated lightly, as if being pulled by an invisible force. However, under the influence of Lin Chen's mental power, it seemed to become a magic item controlled by him. Is this spiritual power? Lin Chen's voice was full of disbelief. With just a simple thought, the beanbag floated lightly into the air, as if it was gently held up by an invisible force. He turned to look at Ivanka, who was still sleeping, and a bold idea came to his mind. He gently focused his eyes and tried to use his mental power to influence Ivanka. After a while, Ivanka's body began to slowly levitate. "Ah, master, what are you doing? Don't come, I really can't do it anymore." "Wait, what's wrong? Why am I in the air?" Ivanka was startled by Lin Chen's sudden move. When she opened her eyes, she saw a floating scene, as if she was in a magical world. The bed, ice silk binding rope, bedside table and other items are suspended in the air, as if controlled by an invisible force. "Ivanka, don't be afraid, I just want to try new tricks." Lin Chen's voice echoed in the room, with a hint of exploration and curiosity, and start trying to control more items. He felt that his mental power was constantly spreading, but it didn't seem to be subject to any restrictions. Those floating objects seemed to become light and agile under his thoughts, as if they were under his control. As Lin Chen's thoughts continued to spread, more and more items in the room floated. His heart was filled with excitement and curiosity. He wanted to know how many items his mental power could control and what the limits could be. At this moment, an idea suddenly flashed through Lin Chen's mind. He looked at Ivanka, with a naughty smile flashing in his eyes. Then what happens next? Chapter 94 Mental Power Person. Then next, you can try to see if you can fly. Lin Chen saw Ivanka flying, so he must be able to fly too. Driven by this belief, Lin Chen gently moved his mind, and his body instantly became lighter, as if he had escaped the shackles of gravity. He rose slowly, about 1 meter away from the tiles on the ground. Let's go, whoosh, let's go. Lin Chen shouted excitedly, and then rushed out of the window of the room at an alarming speed. Lin Chen knew very well that the speed of the thunder gun manifested by the Zixio divine thunder equipment was so fast that it could easily surpass the bullet speed of a sniper rifle. Now, as a level 8 psychic, his mental power is powerful enough to allow him to fly at a speed exceeding 1 times the speed of sound. This means that he can fly more than 340 meters in the air per second, which translates into a speed of up to 1,224 kilometers per hour. Although this speed was staggering, Lin Chen was not satisfied. He clearly remembers that the top speed of the North American X-15, which ranked first in the world, could reach an astonishing 7,200 kilometers per hour. Although there is still some distance between him and Lin Chen now, he firmly believes that as his strength continues to improve, one day he will be able to reach an astonishing speed of 6 times the speed of sound, or even exceed it. A moment Lin Chen's figure flew out of the villa. The air above the villa instantly trembled. This strong fluctuation spread like ripples, waking up the women in the villa from their sleep. Su Yun was the first to rush to the window. Her eyes were fixed on the figure above the villa, and there was an inexplicable surprise in her heart. The figure seemed familiar, but it also made her feel a little confused. At this moment, Yan Siqi also came over, her face full of doubts. What's wrong? Aunt Su? Did you also hear the sound of breaking through the sky? Is it an army plane? Su Yun shook her head slightly and frowned. It doesn't sound like it. Even an airplane cannot make such a roar. The conversation between the two caught Chen Lili's attention, and she came over as a police beauty. She has been fortunate enough to participate in military weapons exhibitions many times and is well aware of the sounds of various types of aircraft. She affirmed, "This is definitely not the sound of an airplane, but what is it?" Yan Siqi suddenly thought of a possibility. Could it be Lin Chen's husband? Chen Lili immediately rejected this idea. How is it possible? Flying power? Even if you had it, he would not be able to make such a big noise. This kind of movement can only be made by level 8 or 9 superpowers who have the flying power. You have to know, how can a real superpower or human being fly? Although Chen Lili's analysis sounded reasonable, Su Yun still couldn't let go of her doubts. She looked up at the sky, suddenly pointed in a direction and said to the two of them, "But, what do you think that is?" Following the direction of Su Yun's finger, Yan Siqi and Chen Lili looked up at the same time. "I saw a figure flying in the air at a speed that was jaw-dropping. And that figure was surprisingly similar to Lin Chen." "Really? It's really Lin Chen's husband?" Chen Lili said in surprise. At this time, all the girls rushed over and saw clearly that it was indeed Lin Chen. They all looked at each other, their hearts filled with shock and confusion. They couldn't imagine that Lin Chen could actually fly in the air and make such a big noise at this time. Lin Chen, who was flying in the sky, was immersed in other thoughts. Previously, with the power of the Zixio divine thunder, although he could make himself as fast as a sniper rifle bullet, human energy is limited after all, and he cannot run endlessly. But now the situation has changed dramatically. Today's speed is simply unbelievable. Even to the Zhou family's survivor base, he roughly estimated that the distance was about 40 kilometers, and no more than 50 kilometers at most. Relying on the astonishing speed maintained by his current mental power, Lin Chen calculated that it only took a short 147 seconds to arrive. Converted into time, it only takes 3 minutes. This speed is as fast as lightning, which is jaw-dropping. Lin Chen felt a strong impulse in his heart, and he decided to go to the Wu family's base. This is not only to satisfy my curiosity, but also to test how long this so-called mental power can last. Lin Chen did it as soon as he thought of it. Without any hesitation, he took a deep breath, adjusted his posture, and then accelerated suddenly. The next moment, his body turned into a stream of light and disappeared directly over the villa. Due to the speed, a piece of white smoke rips open in the air, like a meteor piercing the night sky, which was spectacular and shocking. 2 minutes later, Lin Chen arrived at Yunjin Dongfeng community. Because the power of his landing was too strong, a huge hole was instantly blasted on the ground. The shock even woke up Wu Tian, who was staying here. Wu Tian wore pajamas and rushed out of the room in a panic, muttering as he ran, "Who is it? How dare you break into the base of Lin Chen, the #1 warrior in Luo City?" However, when he saw clearly what was before him, when he saw the figure, his eyes immediately widened and he shouted in disbelief, "Lin, God Lin, it's really you. Why are you here?" Lin Chen looked at Wu Tian's panicked look and couldn't help but smile and said, "Wu Tian, how is everything at the base lately?" Wu Tian quickly replied, as entrusted by Lin Chen, "Everything is fine at Yunjin Dongfang base." He was filled with emotion. If Lin Chen hadn't made him the spokesperson for Yunjin Dongfang against all odds, he would have been targeted by others in the Wu family for his ability. Lin Chen nodded and said with satisfaction, "Okay, but next, I will send some more zombie warriors to Yunjin Dongfang. This is not to guard against you, but according to the news I got, the Xiaori Empire has even everyone from the Yingjiang Empire may come to Luo City, so if something happens, you should evacuate immediately. I will come to rescue you when the zombie warriors cannot resist." After Wu Tian heard this, he immediately stood in order. He knew that Lin Chen was thinking about their safety. He said firmly, "Okay, I will complete what Lin Chen told me perfectly." Afterwards, Wu Tian seemed to remember something, and mysteriously approached Lin Chen, whispering, "Lin Chen, this time our survivor base found some beauties with good looks and hot bodies in advance, and one of them often wears V-neck bras." The girl in the white sweater with her snow-white belly slightly exposed often asked me when Lin Chen would come to take her away. Hearing this, Lin Chen couldn't help but raise his eyebrows. He felt that Wu Xiangguo was really a clever guy. He had already figured out such a thing before he said it. He said calmly, "Oh? Really?" Seeing Lin Chen's interest, Wu Tian immediately became energetic and described vividly, "Lin Chen, do you want to go and see her today? She specially wore a pair of short white silk and black and white leather shoes today, and tied her hair up. She has become a girl with a round head. If yesterday she was a beautiful young woman with black stockings, then today she is a sweet girl." It's just chapter 95. What kind of magic does Lin Chen's eye have? Just what? Hesitating? Could it be that she has syphilis? Lin Chen said angrily when Wu Tian said this to a pretty girl. She always felt like there was something wrong. That's not the case. This girl is just 17 years old. Wu Tian scratched his head and said hesitantly, "Tell me, Wu Tian, what are you thinking about all day long? You are 17 years old, that is a minor, and you are at the age of studying. How come you have such dirty thoughts?" Lin Chen rolled his eyes. "Okay, I just wanted to come and see you today. Now since you have nothing to do, I'll leave first." "Aren't you also at the age of studying?" Although Wu Tian thought so, he didn't dare to say this. "Lin Chen, are you leaving now? In fact, there is still a girl, but this girl went out by herself yesterday." Seeing Lin Chen's back turn to leave, he felt that he didn't give Lin Chen a big deal, and Wu Tian suddenly remembered what. He said, "What do you mean? Did I distribute seeds to everyone? Everyone can survive with their own labor. Why do you want to go out? The zombies outside are not as easy to talk to as me." Lin Chen wondered. "Lin Chen, this girl doesn't want to go out. She saw someone posting on the internet saying that she could get things for free. There are many people in her house, so she went out for her family." Wu Tian explained. Hearing this, Lin Chen's eyes flashed with enlightenment. Since the outbreak of the apocalypse, although food and resources have become extremely scarce, network communication has not been completely cut off. Instead, many emerging forums and communities have been spawned. These forums are filled with various discussions about survival in the apocalypse every day, and there are also some scammers with ulterior motives who publish false information. Although Lin Chen had occasionally browsed these forums before, he was busy leading the cause of human survival and protecting the safety of women. He did not have much time to delve into these seemingly illusory things. However, now it seems that it is time to intervene. Especially when this liar blatantly published false information in Los Angeles, a place where he took shelter. It was simply disrespectful to Lin Chen when people say that Lin Chen is not good enough. Lin Chen cannot bear it. Lin Chen asked jokingly, "Do you know where that girl went? Also, how does this girl look? If she doesn't look good, I might not go." Wu Tian scratched his head and smiled awkwardly. "I really don't know where she went, but I can tell you which forum she saw the post on, and, for you, Lin Chen, I put the base the pretty girl that took photos and kept them, just waiting for you to come back and check them out, so I just happened to have her photos." With that said, Wu Tian picked up the phone from the side and handed it to Lin Chen. Lin Chen smiled slightly, took the phone, and started browsing the photos. "It's okay if you don't look at it. At first glance, even Lin Chen felt stiff. Is it possible that Wu Tian is a genius? Lin Chen looked at the photos on his phone carefully and couldn't help but admired. Wu Tian, your photography skills are really good. However, why does this girl's photos look so professional? It's just like the photos in a photo album. The girl in the photo is lying flat on a chair. Her posture is natural and elegant, as if a rich lady is enjoying her leisure time. Her long hair swirls like a waterfall, giving people a gentle and noble feeling. She wore a British-style vest, slightly revealing her looming green rippling European style, which added a touch of sexy color to her overall look. The most attractive thing is her beautiful legs with cold white leather. They are slender and well-proportioned, and their skin is smooth and delicate, as if there is no flaw at all. This pair of beautiful legs not only attracts countless eyes, but also gives people an urge to protect them. Lin Chen secretly commented in his heart, if you really want to give her a score, it would undoubtedly be disrespectful to her. But if you want to use words to describe it, she is undoubtedly a perfect JK girl. He could understand why Wu Tian was reluctant to mention this girl before. If such an outstanding girl was really lost, even Wu Tian himself would feel regretful and sad. Lin Chen said calmly, Wu Tian, send me the link to that post and the name of this girl. Wu Tian nodded and said, okay. Lin Chen. He quickly sent the link to the post and the girl's name to Lin Chen. Tang Yurao. Why does this name give people a feeling that it still has charm? Without thinking too much, Lin Chen opened the post link. The title of the post is, Jimmy, is anyone there? I found a lot of supplies here, but I can't move them alone. Is there anyone willing to come and move with me? Hey, but luckily, a young lady came over to help me move the supplies, but we still couldn't move them. Is there any kind-hearted person who can help us again? There is also a photo of a girl in supplies below, which seems to have a certain degree of authenticity. When Lin Chen saw this girl, wasn't she Tang Yurao? Why did he join this scammer organization the next day? But since he wanted to save the girl, Lin Chen still started to leave a message. Miss, do you still need someone? The other party responded immediately. Need. Is it little brother? We need little brother the most. However, there are many houses here, and little brother may not be able to move them all by himself. How about he bring a few more people? Seeing such a reply, Lin Chen knew that he was trying to find out the truth. That's enough for me. Wherever you are, I'll come right away. At the same time, on the other end of the reply was a big man with a ram beard and a Hello Kitty pattern tattooed on his back. Brother Joe, here comes another fool. Do you want me to tell him our address? The big man said with a smile. Oh, alone? She can't be the same as the girl before. The man called Brother Joe walked over from the sofa, followed by several big men. Obviously Brother Joe was the leader of this group of people. It's also possible. After all, this time I photoshopped the photo to look like a royal sister. Even I would be moved. The big man said, but I'm still afraid. What if a superpower comes and we are all wiped out? Brother Joe, as a superpower among several big men, is also very vigilant, but the brother sent out during this period didn't even get food back, and he became anxious. Otherwise, he would not let his brother pretend to be his sister to deceive men on the forum out of a bad idea. Brother, believe me, the person who comes here can never be a person with superpowers. The big man with the guangyang who said calmly. Obviously he had an idea in mind. How can you be so sure? Brother Joe asked doubtfully. Look at his ID. What ID? Brother Joe came over and took a look in disbelief. This ID is good. Okay, tell him the address. Remember, ask him to hurry up, otherwise he will be late and there will be no food. Guangyang, who smiled slightly, looked at Lin Chen's ID, and then thought for a moment before replying. Little brother, I can't do it anymore. If you don't come here, I'll be dripping with sweat. By the way, they're in the underground garage of the family photo studio. Hurry up. I can't do it anymore. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 96. The super fan girl is actually a JK girl. Family photo studio. Lin Chen was slightly startled. Are you planning to let him take away the entire family of these crooks? So Lin Chen was afraid that the other party would be impatient, so he responded specifically. Okay, little sister, I'll be here right away. You must wait for me. After saying that, Lin Chen moved and floated directly in the air. In Wu Tian's unbelievable eyes, he turned into a shooting star and quickly flew towards the family photo studio. Wu Tian watched Lin Chen disappear from sight, and couldn't help but sigh at Lin Chen's strength. However, more than this, Wu Tian was still curious about how Lin Chen got the address, so he took a look at Lin Chen's ID. I am timid and lack the care of aunts, ladies, married women and beautiful girls. After a while, Lin Chen arrived at the family photo studio. This photo studio is only about 10 kilometers away from Yunjin Gongfang community. For Lin Chen, who has extraordinary strength, he was already standing at the door of the photo studio in just 30 seconds. As soon as he arrived at his destination, Lin Chen immediately used his mental power to sense the nearby situation. His perception ability is extremely strong, and he soon discovered that there were indeed people in the underground garage, and there was more than one. That's interesting. Lin Chen murmured without any delay. Lin Chen went directly to the underground garage of the photo studio and found that the garage door was locked until death. Lin Chen knocked on it without thinking. Boom. 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 A crisp knock on the door echoed in the garage. Brother Joe and others in the underground garage couldn't help being slightly startled when they heard the sound. They didn't expect each other to come so quickly. However, as the only one with special abilities among them, Brother Joe remained calm and confident with the idea of taking peace of mind. As soon as he came, he smiled and said to Gong Gang, who beside him, "This kid came very quickly, but the faster he came, the faster he died. Gong Gang, please let Tang Yurao go. Let's welcome him well. Today's breakfast is now in order." Gong Gang, who nodded in agreement, and then saw that Lin Chen had already reached the entrance of the underground garage. He immediately told Tang Yurao to get up and stop playing tricks, otherwise she would get the best of her. Tang Yurao opened her lips slightly, revealing a charming smile. She blinked her bright eyes and said in a sweet and tender voice, "Brother, are you here? It's great. This door seems to be locked. Can you come over and help me open it?" Lin Chen replied, "And just wait, I'll be here right away." However, when she walked to the door, she found Lin Chen already standing there, waiting for her quietly. Why did you come in?" Tang Yurao looked at Lin Chen in surprise. She originally thought he was still waiting outside the door. But when she saw Lin Chen's handsome face, her heart beat involuntarily. "I didn't come in. I wasn't waiting for you to let me in." Lin Chen looked up and down. The long legs were indeed real. He really believed that the photo Wu Tian provided before was a lie. "Didn't you come in now?" Tang Yurao said coquettishly, but then, she seemed to understand what Lin Chen meant, and a knowing smile appeared on her face. She thought to herself, "This little brother is really a bit naughty." However, Tang Yurao did not forget what Guang Gang Hu Dahong had arranged. She adjusted her emotions and continued, "Well, little brother, come in with me. There are a lot of supplies inside that I can't move now. Come with me. I know you were deceived when you came here." Lin Chen said directly, "No, I was not deceived." Otherwise, seeing that she was exposed, Tang Yurao hurriedly smoothed things over. Who knew that Lin Chen said directly to the front, "I know there are people inside, and those who have the guts will come out. I don't like hiding the most." These words were like a pebble dropped into a calm lake, breaking the original silence. Brother Joe and others looked at each other, and they all saw surprise and curiosity in each other's eyes. They couldn't help but step out of the shadows and face the young man who dared to challenge their authority. Brother Joe walked in the front, with a hint of amusement and disdain on his face. "Boy, you are a bit brave. You come alone and dare to take away our sister Yurao. I don't know if it was Liang Jingru who gave you the courage. Or who." The big man Guang Gang, who followed closely behind, his eyes looking back and forth on Lin Chen, as if he was looking for something. He asked in a low voice, "Brother, do you want to do it?" Brother Joe shook his head, his eyes revealed an indescribable depth. "Wait a minute, I feel like he has a superpower." His words surprised everyone present. Lin Chen turned around and saw a few big men walking out of the shadows, their eyes locked tightly on him. He smiled slightly and faced it calmly. "Brother, I am indeed a superpower. I don't know if I am lucky enough to join you." A trace of vigilance and suspicion flashed in Brother Joe's eyes. "Our organization is not for you to join just because you want to. Tell me first, what is your superpower?" Lin Chen smiled slightly and made up a reason at random. "My power is different from others. It can make a person ascend to heaven." "Ascension? What is that?" Brother Joe and others had surprised expressions on their faces when they heard this. This was the first time they had heard of such a power, which made them very interested in Lin Chen. Brother Joe even began to think in his mind that if they could really ascend to heaven, then maybe they could look for food over long distances in the future. Such abilities will undoubtedly be of great help to their survival. "Gong Gang, you go and try it first." Brother Joe told the big man Guang Gang, who hearing this, the big man from Guang Gang didn't hesitate and said directly to Lin Chen, "Boy, let me try how to ascend to heaven first. If I'm not satisfied, be careful. I'll kill you right away." Faced with such a provocation, Lin Chen did not show any fear. He slowly approached the big man Guangyang, who, with a kind of confidence and calmness in his eyes. When Tang Yurao on the side saw this scene, she couldn't help but worry about Lin Chen. Although she had just met Lin Chen, she could feel that Lin Chen came for her. She is willing to repay this kindness, but she cannot become his woman no matter what, because in her heart, she is Lin Chen's super crush. Every one of them at this time. Lin Chen had already stood in front of the big man, and his mouth was harder to press than an 8xak. When everyone was wondering how he was going to make people ascend to heaven, he raised his head slightly and looked around. Then his mental power moved slightly, and the big man levitated. I have ascended to heaven. I have ascended to heaven. The big man shouted excitedly, completely unaware of what was about to happen next. However, at the next moment, before he could enjoy the joy of ascending to heaven, Lin Chen's mental power had already controlled him and threw him hard against the wall like throwing garbage. The big man's life passed quickly at that moment, and he finally died. Even when he was on the verge of death, the big man was actually conscious, but Lin Chen's mental power was something that an ordinary person could not compete with. Looking at the big man embedded on the top of the wall, Lin Chen smiled faintly. Are you satisfied with this ascension to heaven, everyone? I've entered the dark room again, and I feel like I can't get out. Please take a look and cherish it if you can. Give me more free gifts, otherwise I won't get any more. Wow, 10 more words to generate electricity with love and 1 more chapters, 20 plus 2 chapters, no limit, as long as you dare to give, I dare to update. Chapter 97 Liu Feier's Choice. This everyone's faces were full of confusion, as if separated by an invisible wall. Unable to understand what was happening in front of them, they looked at the figure high in the sky, and it seemed that they had really ascended to the sky, but the strange feeling made them feel that it did not. After a short silence, Brother Joe was the first to recover. A fierce look flashed in his eyes, a sneer curled up at the corner of his mouth, and he cursed viciously. Damn, this kid is looking for death. This sentence is like a key, opening the door to everyone's doubts. They finally realized that they had been tricked by the young man in front of them. Emotions of anger and humiliation surged in everyone's hearts, and they rushed towards Lin Chen like enraged beasts. However, the moment they were about to touch Lin Chen, Brother Joe suddenly felt a powerful force binding him tightly. He looked down and found that he was suspended in the air by an invisible force, unable to move. Turning his head to look, he was surprised to find that several other big men were suspended in the air like him, as if they were frozen. Brother Joe, I really want to ascend to heaven. Yes, Brother Joe. The faces of several big men were full of horror and confusion. They didn't know what was happening, but they just instinctively felt that this was a very dangerous feeling. Brother Joe felt a strong hatred in his heart. How could he have thought that his carefully selected helper could be so single and stupid? But now is not the time to blame them. He must find a way to deal with the crisis at hand. However, at this moment, Lin Chen's mental power moved slightly. Okay, it's all over. My woman is still waiting for me to come home. The next moment, the strong men, Brother Joe and others felt a huge pressure coming from all directions, as if there was an invisible mountain pressing on them. They struggled and wanted to resist, but the force was like an iron clamp, locking them firmly. Immediately afterwards, they only felt that their bodies were being continuously compressed, as if they were being pinched by an invisible big hand. They wanted to scream, but their voices were suppressed by the force. In the end, the bodies of several strong men, Brother Joe and others, turned into blood foam and dissipated in the air under the shocked eyes of everyone. Seeing this scene, Tang Yurao was so shocked that she couldn't help but gasp. Her legs softened and she knelt on the ground in a V-shape. Little brother, can you not kill me? As long as you don't kill me, I can tell Lin Chen, the owner of our base, that you saved me. The owner of our base will definitely thank you by then. Do you want to? You can get whatever you want. Realizing that Tang Yurao didn't recognize him, Lin Chen showed a wicked smile and said, then can I have you, August? This may not work. You can do anything else. Because I only want to be Lin Chen's woman, and I don't consider anything else. Tang Yurao said nervously. Oh, you mean you want to be my woman? Looking at Tang Yurao's nervous expression, Lin Chen asked deliberately. Tang Yurao didn't understand why Lin Chen asked this, but she still shook her head firmly and said, no, I'm talking about Lin Chen's woman. Looking at Tang Yurao's determined expression, Lin Chen couldn't help but feel a little funny. He did not continue to dwell on this issue, but said directly, that's what it means, let's go. After saying that, Lin Chen didn't wait for Tang Yurao's consent. He directly picked her up and flew towards home. Since it was the first time for him to hold a girl and use his mental power to fly, Lin Chen deliberately slowed down, wanting to enjoy this rare and warm time more. After flying for about 5 minutes, they finally returned to Lin Chen's home, Yazhou compound villa area. In this peaceful and luxurious environment, the girls stood outside the villa, and their eyes were invariably attracted by a figure. That was Lin Chen. He was back, and he was holding a pretty girl in his arms. Aokir looked at this scene with a trace of amusement in his eyes. She rolled her eyes charmingly and joked, "Husband Lin Chen, where did you bring us a little sister from? This little sister looks pretty plump." Lin Chen gently pinched Xiaokir's delicate face and said helplessly, "No matter how big or small, what's wrong? You need to be taken care of. Or if you want to be taken care of, come to me tonight." Although this sentence sounds very tempting to Xiaokir and other women, they all know that Lin Chen's power is by no means ordinary. Awakens' scream still echoed in their ears this morning, and the strong shock gave them a deeper understanding of Lin Chen's strength. The strength, physique and other attribute values of superpowers are several times that of ordinary people. Even superpowers may not be able to withstand Lin Chen's power. This made them start to worry about whether they could withstand Lin Chen's offensive. Xiaokir gave a bitter smile and shook her head. "Forget it, I'm just joking." Lin Chen smiled slightly and said, "People are still addicted to food. Okay, let's eat breakfast first and then deal with you." The girls were left looking at each other, especially Tang Yurao, who was filled with shock and expectation. They were all saying that she was Lin Chen. Doesn't that mean that she might become Lin Chen's woman? This thought made Tang Yurao's heart beat faster. She had fantasized about becoming Lin Chen's woman countless times, and she even agreed to Wu Tian's photo shoot. I didn't expect happiness to come so quickly, but why did everyone's expressions change slightly when they said they were going to see Lin Chen at night? Could it be that Lin Chen used too much force? At this time, Su Yun came over and asked with concern, "Little sister, you haven't eaten yet. Let's go eat together." Yan Siqi also came over and said jokingly, "Yes, yes. Since you are here, you are one of our own, but looking at the Europeans like you, I'm afraid they will eat less than us." Her eyes never left Tang Yurao's plump breasts. Yan Siqi couldn't help but start to worry. As Lin Chen's second woman, although she could occasionally let her clone fight Lin Chen again, if this continued, she might even have less chance of giving Lin Chen a child. "Why are you guys so stunned? Come in." Lin Chen, who was eating breakfast in the room, asked. "Come in, come in, don't rush, don't rush." The girls replied. After eating, Lin Chen originally wanted to chat with Tang Yurao, who had just been frightened. However, just as he was about to have an in-depth conversation with Tang Yurao, Liu Fair suddenly broke into his sight with a mysterious light shining in her eyes. She pulled Lin Chen towards the study. This scene made Tang Yurao a little stunned. She looked at the two people leaving, and felt an inexplicable sense of loss in her heart. In the study, Liu Fair closed the door tightly, then turned around and pushed Lin Chen beyond to the desk. With a naughty smile in her eyes seeing Liu Fair taking such initiative, Lin Chen jokingly said, "Fair, it may not work today. Although I like the study room you chose, it still won't work because I've entered the dark room again, and I feel like I can't get out. Please take a look and cherish it if you can. Give me more free gifts, otherwise I won't get any more. Wow, 10 more words to generate electricity with love and 1 more chapters, 20 plus 2 chapters, no limit, as long as you dare to give, I dare to update." Chapter 98 Freezing Rain. Liu Fair specially brought Lin Chen to the study today. It was not what Lin Chen thought, but seeing what Lin Chen said, Liu Fair, who had never been touched before, lowered her head shyly, with a blush on her cheeks. She is like a ripe apple, people can't help but want to find out. "Oh, what are you talking about?" Liu Fair interrupted Lin Chen, with a hint of coquettishness in her voice. She didn't want this topic to continue because she knew that once Lin Chen started flirting, she might not be able to resist his charm. "Not sure, I subconsciously agreed to the manual transmission." Therefore, she pushed Lin Chen away symbolically, and breathed a long sigh of relief and said, "Okay, Lin Chen. I do have something serious to tell you now. If I don't tell you, I'm afraid it will be delayed." Looking at Liu Fair, Lin Chen didn't care so much. He directly held her waist and said, "Business? Am I not doing business? How could it be delayed?" Liu Fair pushed Lin Chen away again. "Okay, Lin Chen, I really have something serious to do. The person in charge of our Dragnet organization wants to see you." Hearing this, Lin Chen was slightly stunned. Although he can now reach the level of an 8th level superpower with his powerful mental power, Lin Chen still has a little conflicting emotions towards this unfamiliar official organization. After all, it had only been a few days since the apocalypse broke out, and he had already taken in so many women and destroyed the Zhou family and the Wu family. If the Dragnet organization held them accountable, then he could just walk away. "But what should I do with my own woman?" He is a responsible man therefore. Lin Chen hesitated for a while, seeing Lin Chen, who usually had ideas like this. Liu Fei also noticed it, but she still wanted to fight for it. Lin Chen, don't you really think about it? Liu Fei asked softly. Our Dragnet organization is the #1 organization in the world. When Lin Chen heard this, he frowned slightly and seemed not too interested. However, Liu Fei's next words were like a bolt of lightning, instantly lighting up his eyes. Moreover, Liu Fei continued, aside from the Uzbekistan, our organization has the most beautiful girls in the world. Lin Chen's eyes suddenly lit up. He immediately stood up and said in an urgent tone, let's go to the official organization of superpowers in the country of Wu. I want to see how much truth this organization has. It's actually so good. What a beautiful girl, Liu Fei said with a smile. It's not to go to the supernatural organization of Wu Kingdom, but to our own Dragnet organization in Dragon Kingdom. However, I know a little but not much about the situation in Uzbekistan. I heard that only women in that country have awakened superpowers, and that the organization only has female superpowers and some male officers. Lin Chen, I know you are in a hurry, but can you please stop being anxious first? The Dragnet organization is located in a hidden place near the imperial capital, at least 500 kilometers away from here. If we go there now, I will ask the organization to send a plane to pick us up. If it's quick, we can go to the organization tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. Tomorrow and the day after tomorrow? That's too slow. Then when can I go to the organization with the most beautiful women in the world? Lin Chen nodded and said the plane is also slow? Our plane is a helicopter specially arranged for people with special abilities. If it weren't for the time it takes to arrange a plane, I would drive one myself. You don't know how fast those two helicopters are. The fastest speed can reach 500 kilometers per hour. Then you can reach the headquarters of Dragnet in 1 hour. Lin Chen didn't listen to Liu Fei, so he picked up Liu Fei and walked outside the house. However, just when Liu Fei thought Lin Chen was going to do mischief again, she was already suspended in the air. Like Lin Chen seeing herself suspended so high in the air, Liu Fei, even a superpower, was a little frightened. Lin Chen, is this really flying? You have to hold me tight. Although I am a superpower, I am still afraid of falling to death. Lin Chen saw that Liu Fei, who was calm just now, also looked like a little woman, and said with a smile, even if I fall to death, I won't fall to you, my wife Fei. Wait, my speed it's a bit fast, so don't be nervous. Quick, how fast can it be? Liu Fei slowly got used to the feeling in the air and said, I thought to myself, if I can fly a plane, no matter how fast I can fly it, can it be faster than a plane? However, just as she was thinking for a moment, Lin Chen's mental power moved slightly, and there was a sudden roar in the calm place. Boom! Lin Chen took Liu Fei and flew towards the imperial capital. During the flight, Lin Chen also held back his hands. After all, the speed of 340 meters per second was too fast, but even so, it was difficult for Liu Fei to accept it. She subconsciously begged, Lin Chen, husband, please slow down. You don't want to. You have lost a beautiful wife. Lin Chen comforted him. My wife, Mayfair, I will be slower. But you are also a person with superpowers. You have also flown a plane and ridden in a tank, so I'm afraid you can accept this level. The moment Lin Chen was about to fly out of Luo City, the sky suddenly changed and dark clouds gathered, as if the whole world was shrouded in darkness. After a gust of wind, large raindrops began to fall, and it turned into a heavy downpour in an instant. Lin Chen was slightly startled. Such a change in weather was too sudden. He quickly took out a transparent windshield from his space power and put it on his head with his mental power, trying to shield himself from the violent storm. However, the rain became more and more fierce, as if water from heaven and earth were pouring down at this moment, and the transparent windshield began to appear powerless and crumbling in the face of the dense raindrops. Lin Chen's brows furrowed, and he felt that the rain was not simple. He recalled that Luo City had clear skies just now. Why did the sky suddenly become so gloomy as soon as he left? This rain is really strange. He murmured to himself at this moment. The rain escalated again, and icy snowflakes mixed with raindrops fell, instantly turning into freezing rain. The cold touch made Lin Chen shiver. Although the rainstorm is fierce and the snowstorm is freezing, the freezing rain carries an irresistible chill that makes people fearful. Lin Chen made a prompt decision and decided to stay in the air temporarily to observe the sudden weather change. He carefully felt the chill of the freezing rain, and an astonishing thought came to his mind. This freezing rain is definitely not a natural formation. Chapter 99 Eagle Sauce Superpower. Just a moment ago, the sky was clear and clear in Luocheng, and the sun was shining on every inch of the land. However, in the blink of an eye, it was freezing rain and freezing cold. This sudden change in weather makes people have to wonder about the reasons behind it. Lin Chen stood on the air, his eyes were like a torch, and he quickly ruled out the possibility of natural formation. He knew very well that there was only one possibility for this abnormal climate phenomenon, the intervention of superpowers. He looked at everything around him that was shrouded in freezing rain, and a strong determination surged in his heart. He locked on the freezing rain tightly, as if to fix it in place and prevent it from getting closer to him. At the same time, Liu Fei also noticed this sudden change. She watched the dense raindrops in the sky gradually condense into ice, and an inexplicable panic surged in her heart. "Why is it raining so hard?" she asked in a panic. "What's in front of me? Is it a snowstorm?" As soon as she finished speaking, a blizzard surrounded by giant dragons suddenly formed in the sky, roaring towards Lin Chen and Liu Fei menacingly. That majestic power frightened Liu Fei. As a superpower, she had never seen such terrifying energy fluctuations. However, Lin Chen behaved extremely calmly. It was as if he didn't see the approaching blizzard, and just stood there quietly. Firmness and determination revealed in his deep eyes. He knew in his heart that the opponent he encountered this time was a bit strong. This ability to manipulate frozen snow is definitely not something that ordinary people with superpowers can possess, and the opponent must be nearby. He must find the culprit as soon as possible in order to resolve this crisis. So, Lin Chen took a deep breath and began to use his mental power to sense every corner around him. He wants to find the superpower hiding in the dark and reveal the truth of all this. At this time, at the top of a dilapidated church, the figure of a white man caught the eye. He was wearing a neat white suit, with a delicate face and a playful smile hanging on the corner of his mouth, staring at Lin Chen in the sky. "Sir Will, are you sure that the person in the air is Lin Chen?" On the side, Mikami Tanashida of the Japanese Empire asked cautiously. Will glanced at him, a trace of disdain flashing in his eyes. He said calmly, "No need to confirm, kill him first, and then confirm again." As Will's words fell, he moved, and suddenly the wind roared in the sky, and the blizzard condensed into shape, roaring towards Lin Chen like a giant dragon. The majestic energy fluctuations made the surrounding air tremble. When Liu Fei saw this, she closed her eyes in horror. She was filled with regret and felt that it was a wrong decision for her to take Lin Chen back to Xianluoda Wang. If it weren't for her, Lin Chen wouldn't be in such danger. However, at the moment when the blizzard was about to touch Lin Chen's figure suddenly flashed purple light. Purple sky divine thunder wrapped around his body, as if the world was trembling for his power. In a moment, a burst of thunder burst out from Lin Chen, directly defeating the blizzard and dissipating it without a trace. Will didn't expect Lin Chen to have such a powerful attack. He froze on the spot, his eyes full of disbelief, but Lin Chen didn't give him any chance to react. His lightning strike was like the coming of the god of thunder, blasting towards Will in a mighty manner. The force of that blow was so strong that it seemed to tear the entire world apart. Boom! With this deafening thunder, the lightning strike roared directly towards Will like a punishment from heaven. Will reacted quickly and dodged the fatal blow in time. If he had hesitated for a moment, he might have been reduced to ashes in a lightning strike just like the previous church master. Will, this person seems to be much more powerful than we expected. Mikami swallowed and said nervously. There was a hint of trembling in his voice, and he was obviously shocked by the strength Lin Chen showed. Will glared at him angrily and cursed, "If you don't speak, no one will treat you as a mute." Although he was annoyed in his heart, he was more shocked and fearful. According to their previous information, Lin Chen was only a level 5 superpower, but the strength he displayed at this moment was at least that of a late level 7 superpower, and even vaguely at the level of a level 8 powerhouse. Withdraw. The intelligence is wrong, we are no match for him. Will made a decisive decision. Although he is His Excellency Ying Jiang's favorite killer, at this critical moment of life and death, he did not hesitate to choose to save his life first. After hearing Will's order, although Mikami and Tanshida were a little reluctant and confused, they did not dare to disobey. He was well aware of Will's strength and resourcefulness. Since Will said so, they were definitely not Lin Chen's opponents. Lin Chen, who was in the air, saw that the freezing rain had stopped and the blizzard had subsided, and he immediately used his mental power to search for the movements of Will and Mikami. Tanshida, the lightning strike just now didn't kill you. This time I want to see if you can dodge. Lin Chen is a person who is determined to retaliate against others. He never lets go of potential dangers, otherwise what will happen to his woman when the time comes? Soon Lin Chen discovered that just a few hundred meters away from the church, two people were quickly retreating. He ran pretty fast, but are you as fast as me? After Lin Chen put Liu Fei in a place, he immediately chased after her. Whizzing, the thunder gun formed by the condensed purple sky thunder was like a sharp blade tearing apart the space, directly passing through the chests of Will and Mikami Tashida. Will's eyes widened with an expression of disbelief on his face, while Mikami and Tanashida groaned in despair. Ahem, FK. I didn't expect to fall here today. Will coughed painfully, blood overflowing from the corners of his mouth. Master Will, are we going to die here? Mikami and Tanashi asked with a trembling voice, his eyes full of fear and unwillingness. At this moment, Lin Chen's figure appeared in front of them. He stood there quietly, staring at Will and Mikami Tashida with burning eyes. After seeing Lin Chen's face clearly, Will gritted his teeth and said, Are you Lin Chen? When did you become a level 7 superpower? Will's tone was filled with a hint of reluctance and shock. In his original intelligence, Lin Chen was only a level 5 superpower, but the strength he displayed at this moment completely exceeded his expectations. Hearing Will's words, Lin Chen was slightly surprised. He didn't recognize the white man in front of him who was stained red with blood, but he was certain that he had not offended any of Ying Jiang's killers. Do you know me? Lin Chen asked with a slight frown. Will sneered and threatened, It is indeed you. I will accept it if it is folded into your hands, but do you think that with such strength, you can escape from our eagle sauce? Wait, what did I do? You want to hunt me down? Lin Chen was slightly stunned, obviously not reacting. Then he thought of something and continued, Could it be because of Ivanka? No, it's impossible that she was just arrested by me. That's Mikami Elegance. Yes, it must be because of Mikami Elegance. Will and Mikami Tashida, I've entered the dark room again, and I feel like I can't get out. Please take a look and cherish it if you can. Give me more free gifts, otherwise I won't get any more. Wow, 10 more words to generate electricity with love and 1 more chapters, 20 plus 2 chapters, no limit, as long as you dare to give, I dare to update. Chapter 100. A different side of Liu Fair. Ivanka, Mikami Elegance. These two seemingly unrelated names do not mean anything to others, but Will and Mikami are familiar with each other. Will came to find Ivanka on this trip, and Mikami Tanashida was originally sent to find Mikami Elegance, but due to the pressure of Takajima, he was forced to follow Will and turn around to find Ivanka. But who knew that both Ivanka and Mikami Elegance were caught by Lin Chen? You, what did you say? Miss Mikami Elegance was caught by you. Mikami and Tanashida asked. Even though they were enduring the pain. You are a little kid, be careful what you say. What do you mean by being caught by me? She obviously followed me on her own. Lin Chen always felt that the person in front of him was a bit like a licking dog, so he took out his mobile phone from his clothes. Look, am I lying to you? It turned out that Mikami Elegance, Su Yun and the others took photos and private photos together whenever they had nothing to do, and even took photos together when Lin Chen came back. So when Mikami and Tako watched his secret crush take a photo with Lin Chen so intimately, it was painful. It hurts more than penetrating the body. Impossible, absolutely impossible. Nothing is impossible. Lin Chen said lightly, Okay, my fear has something to do with me, so I won't accompany you. After speaking, Lin Chen turned around and left. FK, even though I'm dead, Ying Jiang will send someone to deal with you. But before he finished speaking, Lin Chen suddenly moved. As soon as he had a thought, an invisible spiritual power instantly enveloped Will and Mikami Tashida. The two felt that an irresistible force instantly tore their bodies apart, and then, their bodies turned into blood foam and dissipated in the air. However, the moment their bodies dissipated, Will used his last bit of strength to send Lin Chen's coordinates. He knew that he could no longer escape Lin Chen's killer, but he hoped that Ying Jiang could avenge him. At the same time, in the iconic white building of the Eagle Sauce Empire, a white-haired old man sat upright, listening intently to the reports of his subordinates. This old man is one of the core decision-makers of the Eagle Sauce Empire and has a very high status and power. However, a quick knock on the door broke the silence in the room. The old man raised his head displeasedly, his cold eyes flashing with flames of dissatisfaction. He said in a deep voice, Robert, is there something you can't wait for me to hear before you come in? Robert opened the door with a look of horror on his face. He walked up to the old man and said in a trembling voice, Your Excellency, I have brought you S-Class news. S-level? The old man frowned, his tone solemn. He knew what S-Class information represented, which was important information related to national security. Robert took a deep breath and continued, Will died in the battle, but the news he sent back was very valuable. According to his description, Lin Chen's strength has reached the level of a Xianluo candidate. Tianluo? When the old man heard this, he suppressed the anger in his heart. The old man knows very well what Xianluo means. Although the Dragon Kingdom's strongest combat power is smaller in number than Ying Jiang's super strong men, in terms of strength, it is a pain in the old man's heart. Even if the major empires such as Eagle Sauce and White Bear knew about a young Xianluo candidate who was growing at such a rate, They would want to nip him in the cradle early, otherwise, once it becomes a real Xianluo, the strength of the Dragon Kingdom will increase. When it comes to a war between countries, the strength of a Xianluo can even determine the victory or defeat of the war. Send my 2 men out, the old man said slowly, his voice as calm as if he was talking about a trivial matter, but no more accidents can happen. Otherwise, Robert, you don't have to appear in front of me anymore. Robert's legs trembled involuntarily. He tried hard to stand firm, but the power of fear was too strong. Finally, he knelt on the ground with a plop, cold sweat pouring down his forehead. Yes, yes, sir. Robert replied tremblingly, his voice full of fear and awe. I will definitely handle this matter well and I will never let you down again, but I was thinking in my heart that those 2 people had not been out for many years, and the price they would pay for coming out this time would be very high. At this moment, Lin Chen had already returned to the headquarters of Xianluo along with Liu Fei. At first glance, this headquarters is not much different from an ordinary building. If he hadn't known the huge power behind it, Lin Chen might have mistakenly thought it was a pyramid scheme. However, he didn't pay too much attention to these superficial things, because as soon as he entered the headquarters, he discovered a unique world. As soon as he entered the door, many female superpowers surrounded him. Their buttocks were plump, and Apei was even more proud. They greeted Liu Fei enthusiastically, some curiously asked if the task was completed, and some jokingly teased Lin Chen behind Liu Fei. Captain Mayfair, are you back? How was the mission accomplished? Fair, is this handsome guy your new friend? Why don't you introduce me to everyone? Wow, this handsome guy is so handsome. Fair, you really hide it well enough. You don't want to share with everyone that you have such a handsome husband. Facing everyone's ridicule, Liu Fei's face turned slightly red, but her heart was filled with joy. She has a reputation for both strength and beauty in the Dragnet, so she is loved by many people. However, this love can sometimes turn into a complex emotion. Some people regard Liu Fei as the goddess of Dragnets, so when she gets a little closer to other men, it will cause jealousy and dissatisfaction in some people. This emotion is especially obvious when seeing Lin Chen, a handsome new face. Lin Chen saw this and said directly, "Hello everyone, I am Liu Fei's husband Lin Chen, nice to meet you all. Thank you for your love for Liu Fei. If anyone is interested in Liu Fei, then don't sorry, all you can do is watch." The people who came around included female superpowers, as well as male superpowers, and Lin Chen had already seen that Liu Fei was too charming, otherwise why would he feel some hostile looks as soon as she came out? However, these glances were not strong, and Lin Chen did not take them seriously at all. And just as Liu Fei was chatting with everyone and slowly heading towards the headquarters building, an unfriendly voice came over. "Fei, you have changed. I, Chen Qiu, must have misjudged you. I didn't expect that you, like other women, also like pretty boys. Don't you know that now that the apocalypse is coming, you won't be able to live long with so-called pretty faces? I originally thought you would find a better man than me, so I could accept it no matter how angry I was. But why did you find a pretty boy?" When Lin Chen and others heard this, they immediately looked up and saw a burly figure. The muscles all over the big man's body were tangled, as if they were made of steel, and every step he took carried a heavy sense of strength. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.